Crashing bodies, dancing feet, skill, speed, and ferocity combined in the sizzling form of the Canadian Football League. It's fast break football that's thrived north of the border for over 125 years, and its continued expansion to the U.S. has brought this outstanding game to more and more American fans. Tonight, the newly named and current Eastern Division champion Baltimore Stallions gallop into the Alamo Dome. They're paced by the 4,000-yard throwing arm of quarterback Tracy Ham and his talented core of receivers. They can be electrifying. Now it's a new city for last year's Sacramento gold miners. They're deep in the heart of Texas. The San Antonio Texans have eyes on nothing but success in their inaugural season here in Texas. CFL action prime time on a Saturday night. You're inside the Alamo Dome in downtown San Antonio, Texas. We welcome you to CFL football on ESPN tonight. Last year's Grey Cup participant, the Baltimore Stallions, against the homestanding Texans of San Antonio. Hi again, everybody. I'm Michael Regai. We're pleased you're with us. Now, this 95 CFL campaign might still be in its infancy stage, yet we think our matchup tonight could jumpstart one of these ball clubs into the lead in the Southern Division. Last week, it happened at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. These two clubs went at it for the first time this year, and it was all Baltimore, led by their quarterback, Tracy Ham. He fired a couple of touchdown shots. This one to Chris Armstrong as he broke it open with a huge 24-point second quarter. How about the special teams? Dynamite for head coach Don Matthews. Chris Wright setting sail 68 yards to the zone for a six-pointer, right with the celebration as Baltimore rings up San Antonio 50-24. I want you to join me in saying hi to my telecast partner tonight, the former CFL linebacking legend, Danny Kepley. Danny, you would have loved chasing down these two quarterbacks tonight because we've got two versatile QBs. Now, for Baltimore, Tracy Ham is the offensive player of the week in the CFL. He can really get out of contain and hurt a defense.
He certainly can. Mobility is the name of the game. Tracy has aged very, very well in this league. Now when he scrambles to try to find an open receiver. The receivers work to the open area, and he makes a lot of things happen.
He threw for 200 yards last week, as we said, and as you see, running the football, too, break and contain of that San Antonio defense. However, his opposite number is David Archer, a veteran quarterback, a classic drop-back passer, and we know that Archer knows how to throw the football to his receivers.
Without a doubt, big test for the offensive line. They have to hold this Baltimore team out, but this guy has a cannon for an arm. He's got receivers that can get open, and when he has the time, he makes big things happen.
Archer, a starter in the NFL in Atlanta back in 1986, knows his way around the game. Now, for you to know your way around the game, there are a little bit of differences in the CFL as opposed to American football. Let's take a look at some of them. And certainly, as you can see, the rule differences, Danny, they pop out at you.
Right ahead. You can see there's 12 players on the field as opposed to 11. 3 downs in this thing. Multiple men in motion, but on the snap of the ball, 7 guys have to be at the line of scrimmage. There's no fair catch, but the receiving team is allowed a 5-yard cushion. Touchbacks in the end zone, missed field goals, or punts through the end zone equal up to a single point in the CFL.
Keep an eye on those rouges to be sure. Now, quarterback David Archer certainly knows that you can use this whole field and be strong with it.
You understand what you can get away with in this league, and I do mean get away with in this league. There's some throws that you can't make in the NFL that you can make in this league just based on the width of the field and how the defensive people have to play. A lot of the corners will slack off because they have more field to play, and you have a chance to throw the ball to a guy with more room with a turn to run and run with the football.
Both these ball clubs in at 1-1. There's a guy you're familiar with, Don Matthews. Danny, what a great job he's done in Baltimore.
He really has. He's done a great job. Every place he's been, broke into the CFL with the Edmonton Eskimos as defensive coordinator, and Kay Stevens, in his 3rd year as head coach, is doing an excellent job and has really revamped this team.
As we said, one of these ball clubs goes to 2-1, gets a leg up. We're all set to go. Carlos Huerta going onside early on. Baltimore going onside kick right away off the opening kickoff. Don Matthews, he certainly wants to throw the gadgets out early.
We met him in the hallway, and he said, make sure about this. Coach Matthews has always been kind of a gimmick guy, so he wanted to create a big break early. Now, that ball did not travel 10 yards as it should, and it was recovered, and I think that San Antonio will get the option of being able to take possession of the ball at that spot where it went out of bounds. Replay there, just trying to catch San Antonio off guard early, make something big happen offensively, but the kick was poorly made.
Certainly when you don't execute it properly, though, Danny, it puts your defense in a very peculiar position early on.
Well, Coach Matthews has always been a defensive kind of man. He is one of the most innovative minds that I know in the CFL. He comes into the league, particularly that I know personally, and he builds the defense around the potential and around the ability of the players, not X's and O's and have the players fit them.
Referee David Ewell, a legal procedure on the Baltimore Stallions. That's going to set up David Archer in this San Antonio offense, an excellent operating position.
But we talked about a little bit about defense earlier, just to finish the thought. Coach Matthews has great faith in this defense, and he can put them in this kind of position.
David Archer with 3 wides left. Archer, the veteran CFL quarterback. Tony Burson, the CFL's leading rusher. Mike Saunders in the eye behind him. 1st and 10 from the 44 of Baltimore. Strike on the money right away from David Archer down inside the 35-yard line to Billy Hess. The 5'8", 175-pounder makes his 6th reception of the year. Let's take a look at the San Antonio offense. Some changes up front for head coach Kay Stevenson today. David Archer runs with John Buddenberg along with Darren Muhlenberg. Mike Kiselick, that strong center. Chuck Esty, big fella at the right guard spot. David Archer, your quarterback. Saunders and Burse in the backfield. And the receivers are Kralik along with Stock, Hess. Archer in trouble, being chased and finally gets rid of the football. Flag coming down. David Archer might get hit there for intentional grounding as the heat was on him from Robert Pressberry, that defensive tackle.
Alfred Payton had a great shot at Archer at the first, and all he did was just try to take his head off. Archer just sidestepped him a little bit, was able to scramble, get out of containment, and then break outside, try to find an open receiver. Pressberry, number 72, Robert, the big fella, 6'2", 265 out of Delaware State, was really chasing down David Archer, put some pressure on him, forced him to throw the ball away, and he gets called for intentional grounding.
So that's going to push it back to the 45-yard line, and you get a look at O.J. Brigance. Brigance out of Houston, Texas, got 40 of his family members up here. So David Archer coming back at it now, looking at 2nd and long. Archer out of the shotgun. The line to make is down at the 22. Archer with time throws that out route in and out of the hands of his intended receiver along that right sideline. Wanted to go to Jimmy Lee, popped out of Lee's hands, incomplete.
Baltimore very content at that time, play a deep zone, 3 deep zone with a hole cut. That means the halfback is playing the short zone, and Ken Watson was just going to give everything in front of him, force Archer to throw the ball to that area, and when he did, he just made a great break on the ball, made contact, and stripped it loose.
Todd Jordan, you saw he led the SEC in his collegiate days, but struggling at only 37 plus. He's going to hit it from around the midfield stripe. Chris Wright, most dangerous returner in the CFL back. Heat is on, almost got a piece. This is Wright from the 2. Chris Wright gets that left boundary out to about the 15-yard line. That's where Tracy Ham and the Baltimore Stallions will begin. So David Archer can do nothing with the first offensive thrust from San Antonio. We're scoreless early on.
Ask world long jump champion Mike Powell why he trains like he trains. And he'll tell you, you don't break a 23-year-old record without getting your feet wet. The Delta Cross Trainer by Fila.
If the world's most passionate drivers got together to create the perfect car, you discover there's no such thing as the perfect car. There are 8 of them. The extraordinary BMW 3 Series. For a world of passionate drivers, the perfect car. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Starting at $19,900.
Tonight's Canadian Football League telecast is brought to you by Fila. Change the game. Fila. Glad to have you along inside the Alamo Dome, along With Dan Kepley, I'm Michael Regai. Don Matthews and his Baltimore Stallions went to the Grey Cup last year. Danny almost pulled it out, too, in their first year in the CFL. Take a look at his offense. Big Shar Perdanish, the 280-pounder, leads that offensive line, and this is an offensive unit that averages over 300 pounds. Tracy Ham, that versatile quarterback with Mike Pringle, along with Peter Tuapolo, and Shannon Culver, Chris Armstrong, touchdown reception last week, Reggie Perry, and Robert Clark, the receiver.
Incredible weapons as in the receiving corps, but the big thing is Mike Pringle being a threat coming out of the back, receiving the ball.
Tracy Ham, CFL Offensive Player of the Week for his performance. His wide receiving corps is exceptional, speed and gifted. On 1st and 10 from the 15, the call is to Mike Pringle with a little bit of crease out close to that 25-yard line. Got about 8 on 1st down with a big seam by that huge offensive wall.
Huge guys up front, great extension as they come off, and these are the guys that they're going to have to get in front of. That's Collins and Fears at the defensive end, defensive tackle, Bethune and King up front. Good linebacking core. Harper, Walton, and Tommy Smith, very active, lots of speed.
The loss of Hurley Brown in that linebacking core, though, is hurt. Bobby Humphrey, Wallace, Gerhardt, Kenny White, Malcolm Frank, the best cover guy for head coach Kay Stevenson. Tracy Ham now. Look at his 2nd down and very short. Keep it on the ground. Pringle again. 1st down, a lot more with room. Pringle at the midfield stripe. He could go. Mike Pringle inside the 20 to the 10. Fumbled the football into the end zone. Fallen on by Shannon Culver. Touchdown. Baltimore Stallions. Oh, a wild play as Mike Pringle toted the mail, gave it up, and Culver's right there for the Baltimore 6.
Great hustle by Culver to be able to trail the play to make it happen. But all they had to do, they had the defensive stretch out across the line of scrimmage, and all he has to do is break it point, see one little square opening there, gets a good block up front by this offensive left guard, and then it's just a foot race all the way down to the end, but it's just a tremendous effort by Shannon Culver to come back and be able to pick up that fumble.
2nd leading rusher in the Canadian Football League, adding to his impressive totals there. The PAT banged through by Carlos Huerta, former Miami Hurricane. Huerta perfect on the year, now 10 of 10 on points after touchdown. This Baltimore offense, we talked about it, Danny, maybe the most explosive in the CFL. They show us why there. Take some 3 plays and they're bang in for 6.
The big thing about the Baltimore team is that they can beat you with every style of weapon. Tracy Ham running the ball, scrambling the ball. Great guy in the backfield with Pringle. And then they have to worry about the offensive receiving corps. Tremendous effort by Bobby Humphrey tracing down Mike Pringle, strips the ball loose, makes a terrific effort. San Antonio has a couple of good shots at breaking up and recovering in the end zone. But Culver does an excellent job of squeezing that ball and coming up with a major score.
2nd year in the CFL, Shannon Culver, outstanding job, 78-yard touchdown burst. Mike Pringle took it about 0.74-5, but then, as you said, great point. Culver never giving up on looking to make a block downfield, found the football in his hands.
Anything can happen in this league. You got to trail things. You got to make things happen. You got to break to the ball at all times. You never know when you're going to get a tip or a right bounce. Culver was just a man on the right spot at the right time.
The Baltimore Stallions looking to, as we said, break this 3-way logjam in the CFL South. All teed up is Josh Miller, the punter. Miller's going to hit it down on that right boundary at about the 15-yard line. This is Kenny Wilhite. Wilhite with a change of direction broke a tackle over the 30 to about the 32-yard line, and that's where David Archer and the Texan offense will start. Let's take a look at this Baltimore Stallion defense. We get a chance to set them for the first time. Carter Bayless is a good one with Pressbury. Alfred Payton, 3 sacks, tied the Baltimore team record this year. Linebackers Matt Goodwin, O.J. Brigance. Brigance, a 220-pounder with 11 hits, leading the team. And that secondary, Smith, Anthony, Lester Smith, Kenny Watson, and Gary Wilkerson, a strong one that David Archer has to combat. From the 30 on 1st down, Archer with time guns it into the middle and almost picked off. It went in and out of the hands of little Billy Hess.
Kind of defense that Matthews thinks that he can play against this. Make Archer have to hold the ball in the pocket just a little bit longer because he feels very comfortable. His big guys up front, Payton, Pressbury, Bayless, and Carter, are going to be able to get in his face.
That's impressive numbers in a couple of years in this Canadian Football League. David Archer and his offensive football team averaging about 35 plus in these first two contests. Although last week effectively shut down by Baltimore. Archer again on 2nd and 10 will put it up, swing it out to Mike Saunders across the 40. First down. San Antonio Texans as David Archer finds the CFL's leading ground gainer Mike Saunders as a receiver.
Great weapon on both sides as far as running the ball and catching the ball, and he shows excellent concentration. David Archer wants to throw it downfield, dumps it off. Nobody breaking on the play as far as the defense of Baltimore is concerned, and he gets a good block downfield by Mark Stott. Does a good job of allowing Mike Saunders to pick up some additional yardage.
Tracy Gravely on that hit. So from the 43, 1st and 10 for David Archer. Keep it on the ground. Mike Saunders finds it going tough as he crosses the 45-yard line. O.J. Brigance, a 220-pound middle linebacker, in helping to stack up the pack along with Gerald Bayless, the big defensive tackle.
Last week in that 50-24 loss, San Antonio was only able to rush the ball for 40 yards, and I think it's imperative tonight that they establish that running game.
Absolutely, and last week between that running game and the special teams breakdowns, Danny, that's going to cause death for you.
And one thing you're going to find in the CFL game is that the special teams are a true 1/3 of the football game.
Out of the gun on 2nd and 7, Archer feeling heat. Look out, down he goes. Big sack put on by Gerald Bayless. He was the CFL's outstanding defensive player in 1993, showing you why as he corrals David Archer.
Now take a look at the middle linebacker, O.J. Brigance. He's going to come right up the seam, just right in the heck, gets into his face, and Bruce comes over and just makes an excellent block. And that's the kind of protection that David Archer is going to need if he's going to be successful tonight.
Well, Todd Jordan is going to have to hit it away for the 2nd time this evening. Jordan up in his, as we said, his average only at 37 yards per, but he got 42 on that first one. Down for the Baltimore Stallions is Alfred Payton. Payton, one of their strong rush defensive ends. He's nicknamed Swack, Danny, out of Grambling State, and certainly he's a guy that knows how to put heat on the quarterbacks.
Southwest Atlantic Conference, and that's the man. He likes that name. And I tell you what, Grambling has turned out some great football players. Eddie Robinson over the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eddie Robinson's been just terrific.
So Alfred Payton looking to be all right, shaking off the effects as he is up and off for Don Matthews. You played for this guy. Donnie Matthews, defensive coordinator for you. You guys win 5 Grey Cups. I mean, obviously, he accents the defense, but I think he's done a terrific job blending the other side of the football in, too, making this a prolific offensive team. Jordan's going to hit it away again with pressure, but got it to turn over. Oh, he got it big. Chris Wright gave it up at the 26, now has it corralled, took a big lick at the 30, and down he goes. Outstanding special team hit on Chris Wright from Tony Burse, that big fullback. Baltimore by 7 when we get back to the Alamo Dome on ESPN.
The ESPN Home Video Collection. Awesome plays. Amazing bloopers. Hard hits. Expert instruction. Great racing. The ESPN Home Video Collection. Too many thrills to count. You'll find the entire ESPN Video Collection at Suncoast Motion Picture Company.
This is me 5 years ago when I joined Pound Pinchers. And this is me now.
For permanent fat loss, diets don't work. You need to build muscle.
Before, after.
And the best way to do that is with the SoloFlex Rocket. No matter what shape you're in, you can rock your way to a slimmer figure and more muscle. So get on the rocket today and get on the road to permanent fat loss. The SoloFlex Rocket. Call now for a free brochure and video.
It'll be 2 ball clubs sniffing division titles in the American League out of old Fenway Park, Back Bay, Boston, when Juan Gonzalez and the Texas Rangers go in and see the hit dog, Mo Vaughn and the Boston Red Sox. Starts at 7:56 Eastern, 4:56 Pacific. Check it out tomorrow night, Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Michael Regai along with Dan Kepley inside the Alamo Dome. So you say you want to play special teams, huh, partner?
I tell you what, it's a fun part. It's the Suicide Squad, and all of a sudden, Wright's going to make an excellent effort, tries to see a little crease, but boom! What a shot. And just absolutely levels him. And that's just a great effort that time by Tony Burse.
Tracy Ham going to go for this second offensive series. I saw Tony Burse play in the Arena Football League with the Detroit Drive. They won a championship there, and he was that kind of guy. They had to go offense-defense in that league, Danny, and Burse likes to hit. It'll start at the 31-yard line. Tracy Ham. Make that draw play. Ham's going to throw it away up this right sideline. His pass was intended for Peter Tui Pelotu. Pelotu, the 215-pound fullback.
Just look at the terrific numbers that Tracy Ham has acquired over the years, his 9 years in the CFL. Tied for 6th in TD touchdown passes with 184, tied with Tommy Burgess of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Last week hit this Texans defense for 233 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He got the #1 quarterback rating in this league. Ham in trouble, and down he goes. This time the San Antonio defense ringing up the aqua jerseys to take down Tracy Ham for the big sack. George Bethune had no tackles last week against Baltimore, and they tell us he was a little frustrated about it, Dan.
Puts a lot of pressure on as far as the Tracy Ham, and all of a sudden, as he sprints out to his left, it's so important that the backside tackles make a good block, but as soon as Tracy Ham turns around, he's right in his face, and then Bethune comes in and makes no mistake about putting him on the ground.
Josh Miller, as you see, leading the CFL, one of the most talented legs in the business, will hang it high. This is Kenny Wilhite at the 43, juking and dancing his way over the 50 to about the 52-yard line. So give Kenny Wilhite a 9-yard return. Carter on the hit. We told you at the top of the telecast tonight about the difference in field dimension sizes. Danny, obviously we have some things that are apart from American football.
CFL, the field's 110 yards long, 65 yards wide, and that creates a lot of outpass. The end zones are 20 yards as opposed to 10 yards. So when you get the ball first and goal on the 5, there's still a lot of pasture back there for corners to have to cover.
7-0 Baltimore as David Archer goes to work. And to give it on the reverse, going nowhere. Outstanding defensive hit by Alfred Payton as he was right in the face of Jimmy Lee to take him down. Payton's such a strong rush defensive end.
This is a talented veteran defense that plays everything extremely well. These guys are CFL guys that have been around for a number of years. There's not a lot out there that you can show them and that you can fool them with, and Alfred Payton was not going to be fooled by that little reverse by any means.
Stayed home, did his job to the utmost. Loss of 9, call it 2nd and 19 for Archer. Guns it up this sideline, almost picked off. It went in and out of the hands of receiver Joey Kralik, and the INT for Irvin Smith was there, that all CFL right cornerback. They say don't throw his way, Danny. That time he almost got a gift.
You go to that well any time. The ball is thrown, the break is made, and the tip is behind a bit. Irvin Smith makes an excellent, good play as far as trying to come up with the interception, and then all of a sudden, offensive receiver becomes defensive back.
Smith had the INT, but let it slip away. Todd Jordan getting a lot of work early. Almost had that one blocked. Line drived it. Wright's got a shot from the 31. Again, Tony Burse on a superb special team takedown. Burse, the fullback in this offense, doing it all right now for head coach Kay Stevenson. Baltimore on top, 7-0 when we get you back to the Alamo Dome on ESPN.
Take the heat out of shaving with new Old Spice Soothing Gel. It'll cool the burn, soothe your skin, it'll make your face feel great. Or call 1-800-PROVE-IT for a full refund. So try new Soothing Gel, because now you've got proof. Guaranteed.
New from Thompson's. Thompson.
The winner is going to go to head of the class in the CFL Southern Division. Birmingham's Barracudas tied with Baltimore and San Antonio at 1-1 as we're only in week 3. Michael Ruggied, Dan Kepley. Again, Tony Burse on specials, Dan.
He's a real key to this offense and the special teams, but the Tony Burse is the guy that gets down there, does a tremendous job on the special teams. David Archer called him in the 1992 World Bowl in Montreal the MVP of that bowl game.
And certainly when you talk about what happened in a disastrous manner to the special teams of San Antonio last week, I think Tony Burse is taking it upon himself to make sure there's no repeat.
Well, the one thing about this special teams is just like the same special teams in the NFL. It's hard and effort to get down there and make a block and make a tackle and make something happen.
I love it. Spoken like an old linebacker that maybe played some specials in his day. Tracy Ham with a 7-0 lead. Just inside 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Ham on the roll right. Dump it into the middle. Outstanding grab by Reggie Perry over the 40-yard line as he tried to work his way to those first down sticks. Former USC Trojan on the college game in the American side. Danny was a fullback for John Robinson at USC.
He came into camp as a fullback this year for the Baltimore Stallions, and then they converted him to this receiver. And Tracy Ham does an excellent job because the good offensive blocking. Look at the time that he has. Finally finds his third, fourth receiver, and Perry does an excellent job of looking the ball in, squeezing it with good concentration in a crowd.
That's a 5th reception of the year for Reggie Perry. 2nd and 2. Keep it on the ground. Pringle. First down, a lot more. Look at the cut with a flag. Pringle across that midfield stripe. This is probably going to come back after Mike Pringle had danced his way for 15 yards and a first down.
I think we may have holding against the center. That's Mike Withercombe right there, number 65. Let's listen for the call by referee Dave Ewell.
So the Mike Pringle, what would have been first down run, negated. Withycombe, the guilty party, as Danny tells you.
Counter trap inside. And all they want to do is have him get outside, make something happen, and the holding play happens behind the play, and it should never happen like that. Heads-up play by an offensive guy. When you see Mike Pringle already broken outside and picking up big yardage, don't try to make that break. He's going to outrun some of those defenders.
Pringle has a way of making people miss, doesn't he? On 2nd down now, another flag as Tracy Ham throws it away up on this near sideline. Ham was looking at Shannon Culver, the touchdown maker, early on, but we'll have to sort this one out and see.
Illegal procedure, probably against the inside receiver of Baltimore. San Antonio, as you can see by head coach Kay Stevenson, declines the penalty.
So San Antonio is going to get their hands on the football again for the 4th time in this first quarter. Josh Miller going to come out to boot it away again. Kenny Wilhite back standing at his 33-yard line. There's Miller, who got 42 yards worth on his first punt. He's the top punter in the Canadian Football League. There's Wilhite. Jordan got it to turn over big. Wilhite from the 29. Had a little bit of a seam, and then it closed down as he crossed that 35 to the 38-yard line. That's where San Antonio will start. I mentioned football in a box, the Arena Football League coming up later on tonight on ESPN. The Stampede of St. Louis go into America West to see the Arizona Rattlers. St. Louis features one of the league's top receivers in Darrell Hammond, Aaron Garcia, who's helped the Wranglers average over 50 points in their first 8 games. You won't want to miss it midnight tonight right here on ESPN.
Gary Morris, the offensive line coach, taking a look and talking to his Baltimore team.
Mike Saunders on the call. The top rusher in the Canadian Football League got chased down from behind by Elfrid Payton. Payton, the guy who certainly is showing to be, as we talked about, the prime mover on this Baltimore defensive front.
This is a guy that played for a number of years in the Winnipeg Blue Bomber organization and was just an absolute terror up there. came down, and the one thing that Don Matthews first of all wanted to do when he established his team was surround himself by great CFL assistant coaches and then surround himself by great CFL defensive players. Defense win championship games.
He's done that superbly in a year plus. Archer on second and long, gunning into the middle. Wide open with an outstanding grab is Myron Wise. The slot man, third-year CFL performer, down to the 42-yard line as David Archer delivers a swipe.
Not the type of play that you think this Baltimore defense would give up, but he gives a seam route. David Archer gets plenty of time, reloads the gun one time, pulls it down, and then sails it up down the seam. And Lester Smith, the safety, number 36, just a little slow reacting to it, but a great reception by this young receiver. His first of the CFL career.
Myron Wise in for the injured David Gamble. This is Mike Saunders. Good cut, still on his feet, down close to that 36-yard line. Give Mike Saunders about 4. Saunders came into this contest averaging almost 7 yards per pop, and as we said, leading the Canadian Football League. But Danny, that Baltimore defense shut him off cold last week.
They really did, and they have a great pursuing type defense, and it's crucial for Mike Saunders to be able to break something, make something happen, and take a little heat off David Archer so he can open up that passing game. They're not going to give up the home run ball. They don't have a big home run hitter. They have to nickel and dime it down the field.
On 1st and 10 from the 36. Look at the room for Archer. 30, 25. First down and more down to the 22-yard line. So David Archer seeing all kinds of room over there. Free safety Lester Smith finally had to make the hit. Wait a minute, that guy's not supposed to run. He's too old.
I'm not exactly sure, but he may have been looking at some of the old Matt Dunnigan films from the Birmingham Barracudas as he gets chased out of the pocket. But if they're going to give him that kind of play, no containment. But you look at David Archer, very wise quarterback, still looking downfield, trying to distract the defensive back. Now he's going to lower the shoulder and said, hey, Lester, look out, big guy. I may put you out.
It's supposed to be a speed game. David Archer showing you he can do it. That quick flanker screen. This is Mark Stock down to the 15-yard line. So now David Archer feeling in a flow, starting to feel good about this San Antonio offense as they try to get out of this 7-0 hole in the first quarter.
As we talked about earlier, when you look at this San Antonio offense, not the big names out there, except for a guy like Saunders, so they don't have the big hitters. They have to nickel and dime it, but this is the kind of defense that Baltimore can play that can make you work extremely hard, and it's a grind to nickel and dime against the defense of Don Matthews.
2nd and 5 from the 15 as Archer and Stock hooked up on the flanker screen. Saunders keep it on the ground. Saunders found that going tough off that left side of his as he tried to follow the block at Tony Verse. Baltimore's defensive front stacked it up. Decision time for Kay Stevenson. They're looking at 3rd and long 2.
Good stuff. He listens to the crowd. Now it's 3rd and about 1.5 yards, and one of the rule differences also up here in the Canadian Football League, the defensive line of scrimmage, defensive linemen have to line off the line of scrimmage 1 yard. So a lot of times they may get caught up in that no-yard zone in between that, the no-man's land, and it really creates an opportunity for offenses to pick up short yardage. Either quarterback sneak, or in this case, for you guys, a guy like Saunders, tell that offensive line, get excited, it can throws off the ball, and give the mail to Saunders, who knows how to carry it.
Got the jumbo look. Peter Garton in up front. Toss, sweep, Saunders. First down and more. Inside the 10. See you later. Touchdown. Mike Saunders, San Antonio. Oh, they love it inside the Alamo Dome as Mike Saunders on an 11-yard touchdown burst. That toss sweep, they got it blocked up front.
Good blocking upstairs. Good control blocking. Allowed Mike Saunders just to swing it out wide, and then all of a sudden, all he had to do was find an open area, and with his power, he was able to get it into the end zone for the major.
That's his 3rd 6-point touchdown hit of the year. Looking to tie it up. Roman Anderson will split the uprights. So San Antonio late in this first quarter putting that touchdown drive together. The big third down pass from David Archer to Myron Wise. And then this on 3rd and 1. Look at the lead block from Burse.
On the left side, you get the lead block from Burse, and then you get the Berg buddies hanging in there. The left tackle, that's John Buttenberg. And then all of a sudden, the left guard, Muhlenberg, make good blocks. And then all you have to do is create just a little crack for a big, powerful Mike Saunders. Cuts behind the blocks, picks up the good block by Este up front. And then he just shows good power, slows down a little bit, says, come on and hit me. I'm already across the end here for 6. I'm not going to waste any more energy.
5'11", 205 pounds, played his college football for Hayden Fry in that Iowa Hawkeye program, and he was held down last week, so Danny, you almost expect one of the best running backs in this league to say, wait a minute, you can't stop me 2 weeks running.
You just mentioned about Iowa. He's 14th in Iowa rushing history with 1,476 yards. Last year, some pretty good numbers in 1994, 234 carries, 1,205 yards, 8 touchdowns.
He knows how to tote the mail, and he knows where that final stripe is, too, as you see the numbers, Mike Saunders on the air. We're all tied up at 7 apiece. Got the makings of a good one going on, and as we said, this is a potential first-place battle in the Southern Division, and we're happy you're with us tonight on ESPN. Roman Anderson will boom it away from the 35. They're going to go away from Chris Wright, but this time they'll fake the reverse, and down goes the ball carrier for Baltimore, Lester Smith. They faked the reverse to Chris Wright, and the hit came off that special teams of San Antonio from Mike Pringle, or excuse me, from Tommy Lee.
Take a look. They're just going to fake the reverse. But a new addition to this roster is a running back, Mike Dingle, that comes in, and he's not going to have anything to do with it. Heads up play, not a very good fake. Good pursuit, makes an excellent tackle once he gets there, and backs Tracy Ham in this Baltimore offense deep in their own end to start out 1st and 10.
Ham has produced 1 touchdown as we're tied at 7 with only 29 seconds left in the first quarter. They'll start this offensive drive from the 14. Ham wants to go up top. Throws that quick in route with a flag coming in late. He hit his fullback, Peter Tuipulotu, but a flag came in late out of that defensive secondary.
You like that Samoan language, don't you?
Yeah, I do like that.
That just kind of flowed off your tongue.
You think so?
Pretty easy there.
Well, I'm waiting for the critiques.
That was all right.
Okay. We'll keep it up.
I like that. Ain't no big thing, brother. Offensive pass interference against Baltimore on that wideout from that side. That was either Shannon Culver or Robert Clark. Gets called away from the play. So they've had a couple of big plays happen away from the ball that have stopped some drives.
Since the first possession, when Pringle busted it big and Culver recovered in the end zone, Baltimore's offense has been stagnant. Give San Antonio's D credit making the adjustments. Setting them back big now. 1st at 15. Football at the 7. Swing it out incomplete. Tracy Ham maybe threw that a little bit earlier than he wanted. He wanted Mike Pringle, but let him a little bit too much. That is the end of the first quarter. We have burned 15 minutes inside the Alamo Dome. Don't go anywhere. We got a good one in the CFL South. Baltimore and San Antonio tied at 7.
Showtime right here. Football fans, get ready for the all-new 1995 NFL Team Kickoff Kit. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Just tell us your favorite team.
Chargers! Cowboys! 49ers, baby.
And we'll give you an exclusive team video and a fantastic new Sports Illustrated sweatshirt.
We did it, did we?
Your Team Kickoff Kit starts with SI's exclusive look at your favorite team with your official 1995 team video free.
A free Cowboys video? I get a free Jets video. Dolphins video? Tell me more.
In your team video, SI will take you behind the scenes to give you an up-close view of football from a different angle and let you know if your team will thrive in 95.
And we got plenty more where that came from.
Then hold on, because there's also an incredible Sports Illustrated sweatshirt coming your way.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Hey, this is great. I'll put it on right now.
This authentic SI logo sweatshirt is yours through this exclusive TV offer, and you won't believe it's free.
Free! Free! I don't believe it! That's fabulous!
It's free when you order 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including a spectacular pro football preview and, of course, our famous swimsuit issue for only $1.47 an issue. You save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card for quicker delivery.
I ain't gonna be denied.
It's an unbelievable package that no real fan can be without.
Football, football, football!
I love football.
Call now and get your official team video and authentic SI sweatshirt free.
Let's get some, baby!
From preseason to the Super Bowl, you'll really have your team covered in '95 with Sports Illustrated's amazing kickoff kit.
I want it! Where do I get it? I want it! I want it!
Nobody gives you more of your team than Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Alongside CFL linebacking legend Danny Kepley, I'm Michael Regai. Oh yeah, you 5 Grey Cups, man.
You read that exactly the way
you gave it to me. Yeah, and you can send me the check this week. We're tied at 7 apiece.
As you said, 5 in a row at one time, and it's a name that the people in the United States will know. A quarterback by the name of Warren Moon came in from Washington in 1979 to help us win a couple of those.
A lot of fun watching him on the sidelines while you were resting defensively, him keeping those drives alive.
We wanted Warren to make a lot of money. We wanted him to be happy and throw touchdown passes.
I can imagine. Tracy Ham trying to keep a drive alive here for Baltimore, but it's going to get short-circuited before it ever got started. Flags coming down from everywhere.
Time count violation, it looks like, against Tracy Ham. Not the kind of thing that you would see from a veteran player.
Time count violation. Baltimore 8. Second down repeated.
Especially when you get caught up in a crucial situation, backed up in your own end, somewhere you got to get up there, take control, take charge of this thing, and be able to call that play and relay all that confidence to everybody across the board.
Make it 2nd down and 20 now as Tracy Ham's backed up on his own 4-yard line. Line to make out near that 25. Ham will waggle it up to roll right. Going to deliver down that right sideline, incomplete. Coverage was strong from that San Antonio left corner, Malcolm Frank. We talked about him being the top corner man on this football team.
Tracy does an excellent job of getting outside, and here's where the key is to San Antonio Texans. When Tracy's going to scramble, you just have to be able to get that containment and get outfield and make it just a little bit easier so guys like Malcolm Frank don't have to work nearly as hard as they just did on that last play.
So Josh Miller's got to come in and boot it out of his own end zone.
Well, if you think there's anybody in the CFL you wanted to boot it from there, it would be this guy.
Strong leg. Didn't quite get that one to turn over the way he wanted. This is Kenny Wilhite at the 48. Wilhite looking for a little bit of room. Didn't find much. Give him about a 5-yard return down to the 43-yard line. That special teams hit came from Grant Carter for the Stallions of Baltimore.
Good look at Matt Goodwin. Malcolm Goodwin going off to the sideline. He and his brother, Matt Goodwin, twin brothers. Today, July the 15th, is their birthday. Happy birthday, fellas.
A great way to get the strap on the plastic and go after one another, huh?
What great athletes. These guys get after the other teams. Anybody in that opposite color. Now take a look. Who does that look like, an old guy, 54? Randy White.
Randy White, Dallas Cowboy fan.
Standing right there?
That's a good call on your part, Parker. From the 44, David Archer. Guns it into the middle, on the money to Lee inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Exceptional throw right on the numbers as David Archer hits Jimmy Lee, 31 yards, first down, San Antonio.
Jimmy Lee does an excellent job coming out of the backfield. Gets to the inside of number 39, Matt Goodwin, who I just said happy birthday to. But great speed and then an excellent throw. And a look at the concentration. And Lester Smith has to come over and make a touchdown-saving tackle against Jimmy Lee.
I love Archer's command and his presence in the pocket, Dan. Keep it on the ground. Tony Burst trying to move his way inside the 10. Took a big hit and went to the ground as Baltimore's cornerback came up and put the clinches on. Tracy Gravely on the hit. We'll give Burst about 3. Just outside the 10 is the football.
Burst keeps playing like this. He may run for the mayor of this city pretty soon.
Out of the shotgun. Archer with time to the end zone. Touchdown. Mark Stock, San Antonio on the strike on the numbers from David Archer.
As I mentioned in the intro of the game, the big test was going to be the offensive line. If they can break this up and be able to control and give David Archer a little time, he's got that cannon. He can make it happen, as he just did to Mark Stock for the major score for the San Antonio Texans.
So after the slow start where they didn't get anything going in 4 possessions, David Archer and his offensive mates have really started to heat it up. Roman Anderson will bang through the PAT. So with 12:17 left of the second quarter, there's life in the Texans of San Antonio. David Archer with a touchdown shot. Texans by 7.
If the world's most passionate drivers got together to create the perfect car, you discover there's no such thing as the perfect car.
They try to categorize the San Antonio receiving corps as a bunch of possession guys with hands, but once in a while Mark Stock will separate and get behind people.
This is a guy that's not, you know, he's not a new guy to this league. He's played 3 years with the Washington Redskins, and he has excellent hands, good post route, and David Archer shows he's got that cannon that can throw the ball in between the defenders before the safety, Lester Smith, can get over there.
Mark Stock, second reception of the contest. Now, before Archer hit Stock, he had spread the football around, as we talked about. He had found 5 different receivers in his last 5 completions. David Archer now 95 yards in this touchdown shot as Mark Stock celebrates. Now, Roman Anderson got it teed up, and he'll knock it away from the 35. Lester Smith faking the reverse again at the 15, and down he goes. It may have fooled San Antonio special teams last week in Baltimore, not tonight in the Dome.
Grady Cavendish was not having anything to do with that. They come in, very slow developing play. They don't get the ball up the field. Heads up special teams. Right?
So Don Matthews now trying to get Tracy Ham geared up again, Danny. Only 1 for 5 in his last 3 possessions for 8 yards.
I think he's got to be concerned. He's going to have to get Tracy Ham and his defense all keyed up right now, because I think they made it look a little too easy the first couple series of plays, and maybe this Baltimore team got a little lackadaisical.
4 touchdown shots, only 1 interception on the year, but Tracy Ham's now got to go to work. On that inside delay, Mike Pringle will bounce out over the 20-yard line to about the 22. So give the second leading rusher in the Canadian Football League about 4, let's call it 2nd and 6.
Inside counter play, the trap. Pringle's not going to have much room to make anything happen. Great pursuit. There's 4 or 5 helmets of the Texans around making that tackle, and that is the key to any good defense.
You see the numbers for Mike Pringle. He got 78 of those in that one jaunt to the end zone when Shannon Culver recovered his fumble. On 2nd and 5, Armstrong trying to make a move and will. Now can he get to the first down sticks? Armstrong took a hit over there at about the 29-yard line. Great move by the speedy wideout Armstrong. First down, Baltimore.
Armstrong, again, no stranger to the CFL and no stranger to catching the football. 1994, 72 receptions last season for 1,586 yards, 18 touchdowns.
Kep, when a quarterback is struggling, is that a good way to go for Don Matthews, to try to get something underneath and easy for him?
Well, I think it's the kind, because you feel that this defense is going to sit back, play a zone a bit, and make them throw it in front. And then if you can throw the ball in front and come up and make something happen, you start to build a little confidence with your offense.
Confidence that was there on that hit with Armstrong maybe just went away, as he and Mike Pringle just have not been able to sync it up and time it up on that swing route coming out of the backfield. 2nd and 10 now for Tracy Ham. Glad to have you with us tonight on ESPN. We're in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Both these ball clubs 1-1. They're in a 3-way tie with Birmingham in the CFL South. 2nd and 10 for Ham. Standing tall in the pocket, had a big defensive hand on it, and it was swatted down. It looked like Oscar Giles that had a hand on it. Giles is saying, yeah, it was me. I swatted down Ham's pass.
Big Giles, 6'3", 250 out of Texas. did exactly as great defensive linemen will do. And as you get into your rush, you get as far upfield as you can. And when you can't get any further, you see that quarterback's arm trying to go for it. Get a little vertical. He got vertical.
Showing you that that vertical leap is something that maybe reminds him of his basketball days. Josh Miller didn't get it to turn over at all. From the 42-yard line, Grady Cavness, the cornerback, comes back up close to the 50. That's where San Antonio will start. Texans lead Baltimore by 7.
When life becomes a battleground, your mind is your best weapon.
Formula One, you'll want to be with us tomorrow. Starts early on the East Coast, about 10 minutes to 9. The Grand Prix of Britain. Top Formula One racers from Silverstone, Britain. Now the race is going to feature reigning Formula One champion and current points leader Michael Schumacher. That's the Formula One Grand Prix of Britain tomorrow on ESPN. Don Matthews is saying, where did my offense go? It looked good in that first well, 2 plays of the football game that got him 7 points on the Pringle run and the Culver recovery in the end zone. Since then, they haven't been able to solve the San Antonio D.
You can see Tracy Ham taking a look, talking to his receivers over there. He's with the offensive coordinator, that's Steve Ferrata, who came with Don Matthews when he coached his head coach in Saskatchewan. A lot of his staff is with him from there. But right now, that man is playing with a lot of confidence along with all of that offense. It's up to the defense of Baltimore to make something happen.
10-year quarterback in veteran Kay Stevenson said he's one of the best in all of pro football. Keep it on the ground on that draw play. Mike Saunders following the blocks of his big guys in the middle, Darren Muhlenberg and Chuck Esty, and Mike Kiselak, and banged out a couple. Give him 5, call it 2nd and 5 for San Antonio.
The kind of situation that David Archer would like to be in. Gives him an opportunity. He can either run the ball, draw the ball, or in the case that he's had some success, hitting the quick inside slants to his receivers.
Archer out of the shotgun on 2nd and 5. David Archer, deep square in, outstanding grab in traffic by little Joe Kralik. Got a flag, though, in the offensive backfield, and it is going to come back on the hold. Kralik shaking his head. He made a terrific catch in the crowd.
San Antonio, number 60. 10 yards, 2nd down.
Bob Stevenson, the big right tackle, call for holding. .6'2", 288 out of Florida State.
If Bobby Bowden's watching, he's going to slap him on the hand.
Take a look right down to the right side of your screen. Alfred Payton does an excellent job of just a slap move and it's going to swim around him. But Stevenson's just going to grab a little cloth, and he gets called.
So David Archer sees that big completion to the little hands guy, the possession receiver, Joe Kralik out of Washington, come back. Archer is at 4 in a row and 5 of his last 6. 6 of 9 for 95 yards in the TD. That straight drop back. Go right back to Kralik, almost picked off. Late flag coming out. It went in and out of the hands of O.J. Brigance after the initial hit was made by Kenny Watson, that cornerback.
Came back to Kralik, showing great confidence, the exact same pattern that he ran before, and they're going to call Kenny Watson for getting there and making contact before the ball did. Take a look at the ball. David Archer is coming right into your living room, folks. Kralik's going to see the ball, and you can see the contact. Pretty close. I'd hate to have a zebra shirt on. But the flag was thrown, and now...
Forward pass interference. Baltimore 33. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
Now, they have 2 different calls up here. Incidental contact, as that was there, it becomes 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, and 1st down, as it was in this case.
So Kenny Watson with 6 defensive tackles this year and 1 knockdown, but that time the 200-pounder, the left halfback, got rung up for the interference. Archer will work out of the eye now. 1st and 10 from the 54. Swing it out to big Tony Burse. Inside the 50, fumbled the football loose. Baltimore all over it. Turnover, San Antonio. Give it to the Stallions of Baltimore. They're pointing that way as we continue to get the pile up.
That's the umpire this morning, Tony Mikulak. That ball came loose, bounced around a little bit. Now let's make the calls for ourselves. Matt Goodwin, good head-on tackle. The ball goes down. The knee is down, hits his helmet, comes out. And O.J. Brigance is the man that comes up with the play.
Well, let's see if this gets Tracy Ham going with field possession. Wants to go up top big to Shannon Culver. The coverage over there by that strong cornerback, Malcolm Frank, very strong.
This has been the MO on Tracy Ham. A lot of times when defense comes up with a big play, he wants to turn around and see if he can go for the home run ball and make something happen very big on the exact play right after.
Tracy Ham continuing to struggle. Played his college football at Georgia Southern, only 2 of 9 for 15 yards, and he's been sacked once for a -8. He'll need something here if he wants to keep this drive alive. 14-7 San Antonio. Texans showing blitz. That quick swing to Pringle. Inside the 50, or Chris Wright. Down inside the 25 with a move at the 15. Wright still on his feet and finally swung out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Another flag way back near the midfield stripe, so we will have to wait and see. This one's going to go against San Antonio. Face mask.
Exactly. Not the kind of defense that I would expect San Antonio to play in this case. It's 2nd and long. You make them throw exactly the kind of pass that you want them to throw. Shorten to the flat. Poor tackling, but he does an excellent job of tightroping down the sideline and then keeps trying to pick up additional yardage. Working hard. And that's Chris Wright, and you can see the kind of effort that he can give you on that play.
50 yards plus on the hookup from Tracy Ham to Chris Wright. Chris Wright, who is a top all-purpose guy and the finest punt and kickoff returner in this league. So Baltimore's knocking on the door, trailing 14-7, 1st and goal from the 3. Nothing there as that football was given to Robert Drummond, and Drummond got met up at the summit and swatted down.
Mormon defense led by Dave Harper, the big linebacker, 6'2", 225 out of Humboldt State. Straight dive, everybody's taking the gap, and they just absolutely whip the Baltimore offensive line at the point of attack. This is the kind of play now. Watch for Tracy Ham to fake that dive and keep the ball out around the corner and see if he can scramble in for it himself.
The backs are Drummond and Wright. Ham looking to put it up to the corner. Excellent grab, Reggie Perry. Touchdown, Baltimore Stallions. Terrific grab off the Tracy Ham flip.
Terrific concentration by Reggie Perry. A little rub on the outside receiver coming in and just creates just a little bit of a pick. And look at the one-hand grab and good concentration by Reggie Perry as he looks that in for his major.
So for Reggie Perry, the touchdown catch, his first of the year. Second grab of the evening. Carlos Huerta to tie it up, and he'll do that. So the big play from Chris Wright off the flip from Tracy Ham got Baltimore in position. Reggie Perry, sweet touchdown catch, tied at 14.
Recently, Subway asked us, Bucky and Vinny, to review their turkey and bacon deluxe.
So we decided to do a little research.
This is where turkey is.
Where's the bacon? So what do we think?
It's great. We got nice, juicy turkey with all the trimmings. On fresh baked bread topped with slices of real bacon.
That's what makes it deluxe.
Hey, look, even brought napkins. Subway, what a sandwich.
People love their cars. They want
confident quarterback, in this case, who kicks the ball 1st and 3 yards, comes back. Now, as he says, he's just going to look for the rub, gets a little bit of pick, lays the ball out there, and that is a long way from the hash mark to the sideline. And Reggie Perry makes no mistake of looking the ball in. Nice soft touch, good, excellent concentration, and good soft hands by Reggie Perry.
Talked about him being a fullback in his collegiate days, and as you mentioned, Dan, even started here at that, but they found a home for him in that slot, and he really has produced.
It really is. That this is the league right now that you're going to see 5 receivers, 6 receivers, a 6-pack. Those big bruising fullbacks sometimes become a little obsolete, where they're going to look for a receiving kind of guy that can get open one-on-one against linebackers.
Josh Miller to boot it away. Kenny Wilhite with a bobble and then picks it up. It'll start from the 14. Wilhite got taken down at the 25-yard line. Grant Carter, Malcolm Goodwin combined to make the special team hit secure for Baltimore. So we saw Tracy Ham get started after the one big play and the San Antonio turnover, just as David Archer did after he had a slow first quarter.
This is the kind of thing that I said earlier. That Baltimore defense comes up, creates a fumble, and then Tracy Ham marches the ball down the field. Now it's time for David Archer to come back in, take control of that offense, nickel and dime it, keep some possessions, make some first downs, and keep the ball in his hand.
They'll split the backs behind Archer with Burse and Mike Saunders. This time the CFL's leading ground gainer gets stacked up and ridden down. Maybe give him a couple out to that 25-yard line, but that is about it.
Pressbury, Brigance, Bayless, all of those guys up front. Great pursuit angles, great tackling techniques.
David Archer looking at 2nd and long if he wants to keep this drive alive. He came in, as we said, he and Ham, top 2 rated proficiency passers in the CFL. Nothing to hurt that this evening on 7 of 10 for over 100 yards.
Had some success picking on the safety in the seams. Let's see if he goes back to it.
2nd and 9. That curl-in route wide open. Wise. Look at the shake move. Midfield. Down to the 43-yard line. Myron Wise came out of the slot. Big receiver at 6'1". David Archer found him. Wise did the rest.
What Wise did was convince the halfback, Ken Watson, that he was going to take him deep, take him back to that post again, and then all he did was hook it up. And when he hooked it up, look at the cushion that he has in between there. Now he shows that he's got some great footwork, and watch the effort of some of the guys coming behind him, trying to make a block. There's Mike Saunders trying to come in there late and keep this drive alive.
Second huge catch of the night for Myron Wise, who's playing because David Gamble is out with a knee. Archer swinging out left side. The big man, Tony Burse, will dive inside the 35, down to about the 33-yard line, so give Archer and Burse 8 on their hookup on screen left.
If it doesn't fit, don't force it. If they're going to play that zone and take away the deep stuff and try to cover their seams up, then just dump it off. And he did. David Archer did an excellent job of leading Burse in front, going toward the line of scrimmage where he could catch that ball in full stride and get some vision, see the defenders in front of him, and make a little something happen.
Just saw Kep's former defensive coordinator, Don Matthews, now the head coach of Baltimore. We had movement on the left side of that San Antonio offensive line. The Berg boys, Buddenberg and Muhlenberg, may have got off the ball a little quick.
Illegal procedure. San Antonio 59, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
That was Muhlenberg that wanted to get in there. Well, sometimes you just get that little lean. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying sometimes. But he got called.
Truthfully, though, with a veteran quarterback like David Archer, and you work with a guy like that, usually those snap counts are down pretty well. You know his cadence.
I guess in his defense, he did get the starting position because of a couple of changes, so maybe he didn't get too many reps during the week.
Make it 2nd and 9 now. Archer going to put it up in the middle. Terrific grab by Mark Stock. Stock laid out, went down at the 23-yard line, picked it off his shoe tops. David Archer telling Mark Stock, you helped me out there, partner.
Look at the footwork of David Archer again. Scrambles just a little bit, comes up into the pocket, but Mark Stock makes sure that he has both hands underneath that ball and cradles it in for a big reception. Keeps this drive alive, keeps possession in David Archer and the Texans' hands.
Myron Wise and Mark Stock have made big grabs. Fake that inside move. Archer now going to put it up to the end zone, and a crowd almost picked off. Outstanding defensive play by Baltimore's free safety, Lester Smith. That time he didn't look Smith off. Smith read it perfectly.
Something that you would not think David Archer's going to do is fake the handoff inside, but come out on the naked bootleg all by himself. Matt Goodwin, number 39, the outside linebacker, wasn't fooled at all, and he gave some late pressure to David Archer, and I think that pressure came unexpectedly to Archer, and all of a sudden he had to throw it up, and he threw the ball up there into a crowd. Lester Smith almost with a chance to get a payback on David Archer.
Lester Smith, one of the top 3 safeties in this league, beat out All-East safety Michael Brooks for the job. That broke Archer's string, by the way, of hitting 8 completions in a row. On 2nd and 10 for the 22. Fade route to the corner. Incomplete. He wanted Billy Hess, who ran that post corner. Incomplete. Inside the 3-minute mark, the 3-minute warning in the CFL. David Archer all tied up with Baltimore at 14 apiece on ESPN.
ESPN Net Sports Zone. Your gateway to the game. Intelligent. Interactive. Instantaneous. The #1 sports site on the net. Plug your brain into the zone. ESPN Net Sports Zone. Baseball's home base on the net. Scores. Stats. Analysis. It's on the net before it's in the news. You're in the zone or you're out.
To unlock your body's potential, we proudly offer Soloflex. 32 old-fashioned iron-pumping exercises, each correct in form and balance, all on the simple machine that fits in the corner of your home. For a free brochure, call anytime.
You want to see more CFL action tomorrow night on the Deuce. The Rough Riders of Saskatchewan go in to see those Mad Dogs of Pepper Rogers in Memphis. Old versus new. Tradition continues. Check it out on the Deuce tomorrow night. Director Steve Lanchet and my partner Dan Kepley were in Memphis last night. I hear that they've got travel arrangements out of there just so smooth that nobody could miss.
You know, it was easy. It's just like walking through the park. We were not only in Memphis last night, we were in Memphis till about almost 12 o'clock this day at lunch. Our flight was canceled. We couldn't get out. We've got to Dallas. We missed the flight out of Dallas, and then all of a sudden, when we did get a flight, what we thought was going to San Antonio, the pilot came on and said, "Thank you very much for flying to Austin with us." And now we thought it's Murphy's Law.
Yeah,
that was all it was.
I can't begin to tell you how happy producer Mike Baker was to see Steve Lanchet and Dan Kepley. Roman Anderson, 6 of 7 from the year, going to hit it from about the 30. Got a lot of leg. Got the proper accuracy. Roman Anderson with a 3-point hit from 30 yards away. Well, San Antonio back on top with 2:39 left in this first half as Anderson and Carlos Huerta, both these guys have been deadly this year.
One rule we may educate you a little bit again about the CFL: on a made field goal, the receiving team has the option of either scrimmaging the ball from their own 35-yard line or electing to have the team that just kicked the field goal kick off to them. In this case, they will be kicking off and Baltimore will be receiving.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime, you won't want to miss a feature on the Baltimore Stallions, the champs last year in their first league in the CFL. Can they repeat it on the eastern side, go to the Grey Cup again? We're going to take a look at that, find out what the chances are. And, of course, Dan and I will bring you the highlights and our analysis of the first half as Donnie Matthews Ball Club now down by 3 after the big whooping they laid on this San Antonio team last week.
Completely different ball club than they looked at last week, and maybe they looked past them just a little bit. Mike, just while we have a quick time, I'd like to tell you, in the last 3 minutes of the first half and the ball game, the clock is stopped after every play. It allows the players to get back on side, get into the huddle. Once the ball, if it's a rushing down, is marked, then the ref will blow the clock in. But if it's an incompleted pass, it is marked and the clock is stopped. So 3 minutes can last an eternity in the CFL.
I was going to say, you can run off a monumental amount of plays in that time. Roman Anderson from the 35. They again keep it away from Chris Wright. This is Lester Smith. Smith seeing a little bit of a seam and then got banged down as he crossed the 30-yard line. This one is going to come back as San Antonio's special teams continue to do the job and shut off this very potent Baltimore kick return squad.
Mike Dingle, who was just activated for this game, made a great effort to get down, and he got blocked in the back.
Block in the back. Baltimore 55. 10 yards, first down.
As you just heard, number 55, that is Malcolm Goodwin.
Goodwin the guilty party, so Tracy Ham and this Baltimore offense going to be backed up all the way to the 15-yard line. Let's not forget last year, as we see this, Danny.
You can see just right at the top of your screen, number 55, Malcolm Goodwin gets in the back of, all of a sudden, a big hustling dingo getting downfield. That was the only thing that sprung him. Tracy is backed up deep.
2:33 left in the first half. San Antonio on top by 3. Tracy Ham gunning that out route. Quick turn. Shannon Culver stepped out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, but that gets 15 and a first down real quick as Ham's on the money.
Tracy Ham knows that this Texan defense is going to play it a little soft. He's going to take some stuff in front of it. They're not going to give up the home run ball, but it is crucial for this San Antonio defense to bend a little bit, but don't break. Don't let Baltimore score before the half and have a little momentum going in at halftime.
15 yards from Tracy Ham to Shannon Culver. Ham going right back to work. Looks for it all wide open across that midfield stripe is Chris Armstrong. Armstrong ran that fade route and beat Kenny Wilhite.
Tracy, all he had to do was read Armstrong. He gave him the post corner fake, 3-step drop, and then he just floats it. He gets the air under it, and he lets a speedy Chris Armstrong run underneath it. The ball slightly underthrown, or else it could have been even a bigger gain.
So in 2 plays, Tracy Ham on hits to Shannon Culver, and Chris Armstrong has taken his football team 45 yards. Armstrong 2 grabs for 37. That quick flanker screen, that hitch route to Shannon Culver. Give Culver the catch, but right at the line of scrimmage, which will bring up 2nd down and 10. Now again, that clock stopped with 2:04.
Stopped at this point. Now it is blown in. They're at the line of scrimmage, a little bit like the hurry-up offense. They're wasting some precious seconds right now. Tracy Ham should be up there calling the play, organizing this at the line of scrimmage.
5 receivers for Tracy Ham. Only Mike Pringle behind him. On 2nd and long. Ham avoiding the pressure. Tracy Ham to the 40. First down to the 36-yard line, where he was finally run down from behind by Roosevelt Collins. Excellent presence of mind, Tracy Ham.
Tracy Ham at his best. This is why he's one of the major weapons in the Canadian Football League. Great coverage downfield by the Texans. Nobody to throw the ball to, but look at the footwork. Look at the scout. You've got to break down with a guy like Tracy Ham. Just get a piece of cloth and get him on the ground. You're not going to get a good shot. He has great vision, and he doesn't allow you to be able to get the kind of shot that you'd like to take his head off.
Wanting to take his head off was Willie Fears, that big 285-pound defensive tackle. You see Willie getting worked on. It looks like the area of that left knee. Part of that Sacramento Gold Miner Ball Club last year. That staff continues to work on Willie Fears. As mentioned a moment ago, Danny, that Sacramento beat Baltimore twice last year. Took them down 2 times as Kay Stevenson had the best of Don Matthews. 3 and 4 is Stevenson against your old coaching boss in CFL wars.
Well, the thing is, I can tell you that this was a much improved offense last year. Certainly Kay Stevenson has tried to incorporate a better receiving core than he had last year. And he certainly, by the onset that we've seen in the first half, have acquired some great guys in Stock and Kralik to do some wonderful things, soft hands. And when you have that receiving core, the big addition that helped out was also Mike Saunders in the backfield.
No question about that. As we said right now, the leading ground gainer in the Canadian Football League coming in tonight. Tracy Ham has picked it up a little bit after this drive, 7 of 14 for 119 yards. Right now he's looking at 1st and 10 from the 37, 1:19 left on that inside trap to Mike Pringle. Pringle ground out a couple of tough yards, down inside the 35 to about the 34. We'll give Mike 3 and call it 2nd and 7.
Gambling defense by the Texans. They're going to come up there and blitz this a little bit. All they have to do, and that puts their secondary guys in one-on-one coverage. If Tracy Ham is able to pull that ball out, force the corner, break containment, and they may come up with another big score before this half is over with.
One of the officials is coming over to this near sideline to talk to one of our ESPN crew.
I think he wants to get a reset on the clock. It is sitting now at 1:11.
We're inside the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Good to have you along tonight on ESPN, along with Dan Kepley, Michael Regai. 17-14. San Antonio trying to make amends for that whipping that Baltimore laid on them last week in Memorial Stadium. The clock at both ends of the dome now certainly malfunctioning. It's showing 11 minutes, as a matter of fact, and referee David Ewell and his crew are trying to figure out where we are.
And Tracy Ham certainly wasn't going to argue with that. He thought,
Nope.
I'd like to have 11 minutes to work to get this ball into the end zone.
Well, nothing else. It allows them maybe to, there you go, back to 1:16, which is where it should be. Allows Don Matthews to regroup offensively, maybe send in a couple of looks, a couple of sets to run against the San Antonio D. Five wide for Tracy Ham. On 2nd down and 7 for the San Antonio 33. Clock running. We're inside the minute mark. Ham gunning it into the middle. Outstanding defensive play by San Antonio's Jason Wallace. Wallace, that right halfback in his 3rd CFL year. Excellent coverage on Chris Armstrong.
Armstrong looking at the official. He wants a flag on that play. He thought Wallace was all over him. But as you said, it was just an excellent play. Tracy with a little half sprint to the right. Then he's going to throw back to the post on the backside. And Jason Wallace, great closing speed, and was able to get the right hand in and deflect the pass down.
So Carlos Huerta, the former Miami Hurricane, a perfect 5 of 5 in the win last week. Will try it from 41 yards away. Huerta with a lot of leg. Bangs it dead center. We're tied at 17 as Carlos Huerta continues his magical work with the right leg for Baltimore Stallions.
51 seconds left. Don't go to the refrigerator right now. There's a lot of time left in the Canadian Football League. A number of plays that can be run. This is the time, as I said, after a field goal attempt, the San Antonio Texans have an option, and they will choose to scrimmage the ball from the 35-yard line.
Robert Clark, one of those very electrifying wide receivers in that squadron for that man, quarterback Tracy Ham. Robert hadn't had his hands on the football, though, tonight. And he came in averaging almost 20 yards of reception on 6 grabs.
6 grabs, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 catches last week against this San Antonio Texan team.
David Archer now opting to take the football from the 35-yard line, swinging it out to Mike Saunders. Saunders will get up close to that first down stick where he was finally run out of bounds by Tracy Gravely and Gary Wilkerson.
Mike Saunders at 205 plays a lot bigger than that. Don't look for him to take the easy way out and step out of bounds. He's going to punish you if you come up to try to make a tackle on him.
Oh, partner, he played in the Big Ten. You know, you gotta be a tough guy and strap it up in that conference.
That's exactly right.
44 seconds left. 2nd down, about a half yard. Archer is going to power his way to that first down out to about the 47-yard line. Again, the clock stopping. So David Archer following his center, Mike Kiselak and Darren Muhlenberg, John Buddenberg, and grabbing that first down. Clock on the move now. 35 seconds. Archer out of the gun. Swinging out left side, Saunders. Trying to put a move on Tracy Gravely. Couldn't do it. Charles Anthony with some help to take him down.
Patient defense, playing that prevent 4-deep zone. Sit back there, force them to throw it short to a guy like Saunders. Then come up, everybody react. Stay in your lanes, make the tackle, keep the clock running.
On 2nd and 6 with a flag down. Archer's on the scramble right. David Archer got that first down at the 51 of Baltimore, but let's see if it doesn't come back. Stallion defense thinks that flag is on San Antonio. Nope, offside on Baltimore, the preliminary call.
Offside. Baltimore 54. Penalty decline. First down.
David Archer scrambling for that first down.
Grant Carter, the left defensive end, called on the offside play. 12 seconds to go. Big completion. Dave Archer and these Texans can get into field goal range.
First and 10 from the 51, but more importantly, only 12 seconds left. Archer out of the shotgun. Swing it left side. Tony Burse. Burse trying to scramble and claw his way for extra yardage. Got about 7 down to the 44 of Baltimore, with now 4 ticks left in this first half. Tony Burse had 8 receptions versus the Stallions last week. He's picking up right where he left off. So San Antonio right now, Case Stevenson and his bunch going to talk about it. David Archer with a timeout. 4 seconds left. Dan, what are the options here?
Well, one of the things I just said, the CFL also, you're entitled to 1 timeout in the last 3 minutes of the half and the last 3 minutes of the game. Right now, if they line it up, it could be about a 52-yard field goal. This is not something that is not makeable for Roman Anderson.
He's already hit from 50 plus this year.
Hit from 50 at one time. And this is a guy, he's 4 for 4 already in his field goal. So let's build a little confidence right before the half. 4 seconds to go. Now what you're going to see in the Canadian Football League again, if this is a missed field goal, the return team has the option of running that ball out. If they run the ball out past the goal line and it is tackled, then there will be no single point given up.
Jim Kemp fumbled the snap. An aborted opportunity. Roman Anderson never got a chance to get it in the air. Lester Smith came to take him down, and that's going to do it. 30 minutes in the books. An extremely entertaining first half here in the Alamo Dome. Texas and Baltimore tied at 17 apiece. Take a look at this.
One of the opportunities for Anderson, just a loss of concentration. Then now Jim Kemp has to run for his life. And number 21, Irwin Smith, great pursuit speed from behind, was going to have nothing to do with it and puts Kemp down on his back.
Well, 30 minutes, and we're dead even apiece as Roman Anderson, after the 2 touchdowns from both ball clubs, Roman Anderson and Carlos Huerta exchange field goals to stalemate this at 17 apiece. Let's take it down on the sidelines and welcome the head coach of the San Antonio Texans, Case Stevenson. Case, certainly after last week where it got away from you in the second quarter, you got to be pleased about special teams have been effective, and you moved the football well in the second quarter.
Well, they have, and special teams, we gave up so much field position last week. We've done a pretty good job this week, no question.
Coach, your defense has come up big. Last week they gave up 27 points in the first half. They seem to be a really possessed defense out there in the first half of this ball game.
I think overall we played well, but we still made some mistakes. We let them have some big plays and get out of holes. And after the turnover there, take it down and score. We got to go out and stop.
Okay, sometimes maybe wide receivers aren't big home run hitters, but I love your hands and the possession guys that you have. They really do the job in that offense.
Well, they do. We've got a couple of guys that can get down the field as well. So as long as we get down the field and catch the ball, that's the most important thing.
Case Stevenson, thank you very much. Good luck in the second half. Case Stevenson, head coach of the San Antonio Texans. David Archer, touchdown shot in the second quarter. We're all tied up. Don't go anywhere. Halftime coming up on ESPN. Baltimore and San Antonio tied at 17.
Showtime right here. Football fans, get ready for the all-new 1995 NFL Team Kickoff Kit. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Just tell us your favorite team.
Chargers! Cowboys! 49ers, baby.
And we'll give you an exclusive team video and a fantastic new Sports Illustrated sweatshirt.
We did it, didn't we?
Your team kickoff kit starts with SI's exclusive look at your favorite team with your official 1995 team video free.
A free Cowboys video? I get a free Jets video. Dolphins video? Tell me more.
In your team video, SI will take you behind the scenes to give you an up-close view of football from a different angle and let you know if your team will thrive in 95.
And we got plenty more where that came from.
Then hold on, because there's also an incredible Sports Illustrated sweatshirt coming your way.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, this is great. I'll put it on right now.
This authentic SI logo sweatshirt is yours through this exclusive TV offer, and you won't believe it's free.
Free? Free? I don't believe it. That's fabulous.
It's free when you order 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including a spectacular pro football preview and, of course, our famous swimsuit issue for only $1.47 an issue. You save over 50% off the cover price. Use your credit card for quicker delivery.
I ain't gonna be denied.
It's an unbelievable package that no real fan can be without.
Football, football, football!
I love football.
Call now and get your official team video and authentic SI sweatshirt free.
Let's get some, baby!
From preseason to the Super Bowl, you'll really have your team covered in '95 with Sports Illustrated's amazing kickoff kit.
I want it. Where do I get it? I want it. I want it.
Nobody gives you more of your team than Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
A lot of noise out of the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas tonight as Baltimore and San Antonio tied at 17 apiece at the break. Certainly glad to have you with us tonight on ESPN, everybody. Michael Regai along with CFL linebacking great from days gone by.
A lot of days gone by, as a matter of fact.
Dan Kepley. Kep, first of all, that we talked with Kay Stevenson, this San Antonio ball club had to find a way to shut off this versatile Baltimore offense. They put 17 points on the board, but I think Stevenson's happy with what his defense has given him.
Well, I think he did, except for like you said, he did give up some big plays early part of this game, but for whatever reason, Baltimore seemed to let up just a little bit. But all of a sudden, then this Texan defense started to swarm, come up with a few plays, make some things happen, and put a lot of pressure on Tracy Ham.
Speaking of Tracy Ham, he and the Baltimore, at that time, football club back in 1994, had a magic carpet ride all the way to the CFL championship game. Let's find out more. There was reason to cheer last season when professional football returned to the Baltimore area for the first time in a decade. The expansion CFL's Baltimore Football Club exploded on the scene with a record-setting season and a trip to the Grey Cup Championship. It was the kind of first-season success expansion teams aren't supposed to have, but it wasn't entirely unexpected.
Initially, I was surprised that we were able to come together as a unit and play as well as we did as a unit, but I think once we start playing as a team and we realized the talent that we had and the veterans, where the veterans were strategically placed from an organization standpoint of view was a good move by Coach Matthews.
The surprise was how well the new younger players came along, and I think that's a credit to the veterans that we did bring on our football team, because veterans have a way of bringing rookies along, and we had 22 rookies and they brought them along very well.
And what fueled the way for this horse with no name was the intelligence used by the team in realizing that to win in this league, speed takes precedence over size.
It's everything. Because the field is so big, you have to be able to cover the field well. And people were kind of taken aback by the fact that we use linebackers as defensive ends and smaller defensive tackles and DBs as linebackers and faster DBs as DBs. And it's made all the difference in the world when you can chase a play down from sideline to sideline, and that's what we have on our defense, the ability of guys who can cover the whole field. It makes a big difference. We may not be able to hang with people as far as brute strength, but what we're going to do is try and beat them to the gaps and beat them to the punch.
And what lies ahead in year two? First, a brand new name, and second, a drive to return to the CFL championship and reverse the end result.
The job of complacency falls with me, and it's my job not to let that happen. And we haven't been complacent, and if we do get that way, it'll be my job to get them out of it.
You always have to worry about that. We had a great year last year, and we're proud of that, but we still came up one game short. And at the end of last year, we felt that we had a good enough team to win the Grey Cup, but we didn't do that. So I think that left a hunger in the guys that they came back this year more focused. Everyone's a veteran now, and we're more experienced. We play with each other. So we know that each other's going to do a little bit better this year. So hopefully we can take it one step further.
They call it the Miracle on 33rd Street. What a great football tradition in Baltimore. Will it continue? That's what this 95 CFL season will unfold, and we'll find out. Tied at 17 apiece. We've got highlights from the first half coming up. Don't go away when we get back to the Alamo Dome.
If the world's most passionate drivers got together to create the perfect car, you discover there's no such thing as the perfect car. There are 8 of them. The extraordinary BMW 3 Series. For a world of passionate drivers, the perfect car. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Starting at $19,900.
Introducing a breakthrough in bedding. The revolutionary Sealy Posturepedic. It's new, stronger, more sensitive. Now, the only foundation made from steel beams, not wood, is redesigned to be even stronger. Now, Sealy has a more sensitive sense and respond coil system. And its patented sensory arm senses and cushions your movement, then responds to your weight with increasing support. Correct support. For the back support you need. Posturepedic support only from Sealy.
If you're like most guys, you probably don't have a clue what conditioners do for hair.
Got me.
But what if I told you they help hair lay right, stay in place, smooth flyaways?
Conditioners do that?
That's right. And there's no better time to see for yourself than now. With new Pert Plus shampoo and conditioner in one. Reformulated with some of the most advanced cleaners and conditioners out there. For much more manageable hair than regular shampoo with no more work. So what do you think?
You know, I think I could get used to this.
New Pert Plus. Great hair, no fuss.
400 of the world's most daring athletes, 27 different radical events, 9 over-the-top extreme sports, 7 days of intense competition, 1 killer soundtrack. ESPN presents You Ready for This? Music from the 1995 Extreme Games featuring Mudhoney, Dinosaur Jr., Throwing Muses, B-52s, Babes in Toyland, Biohazard, and more. You Ready for This? Available on Reprise Compact Disc and Cassette, specially priced at all Camelot music locations. Take it to the extreme.
Back inside the Alamo Dome, the San Antonio Texans trying to make amends for what happened last week in Memorial Stadium when they were thumped in no uncertain terms by Baltimore Stallions 50-24. We're very pleased you're with us tonight on ESPN for CFL Primetime. Danny, we talk about that point outburst by Baltimore last week. They got it started early tonight, and of course, Mike Pringle is always involved when you talk about the ground game for this football team.
Anytime you start talking about highlights, you are going to mention Mike Pringle's name, and he gets it going very early in this ball game. He makes a good play. All he has to do is a straight dive play, but Mike Pringle does a lot of this on his own. Finds a little crease. Now he makes the safety. Gerhardt missed him, and now it's a foot race. But the great compliment is to a guy that's a cornerback like in Bobby Humphries that runs him down from behind, strips the ball loose. San Antonio has a couple of good opportunities at it, but Culver comes up with it with a major score.
Absolutely. Not only Shannon Culver, but you saw other wideout Chris Armstrong down there. So 7-0 Baltimore, but look at here. This is a big play on third down. Mike Saunders got involved.
The great addition to this Texan team in the offseason was the addition of Mike Saunders, both as a running, as you just saw, big, powerful guy that can carry the mail out of the backfield and catches the ball extremely well.
Tied at 7 apiece. Now, second quarter, David Archer started to get hot. He's your classic pocket passer. Look at his command and touch.
Good control, controlling the offensive line up in front, good protection, and when he finds that little seam, he's got the cannon that can get it in between the crease, and he beats the safety, Lester Smith.
He hit Mark Stock on that touchdown shot as Stock, along with Myron Wise, made big catches. Late in the first half, though, Tracy Ham on the fade route. This is an exceptional catch by Reggie Perry.
Shows the confidence of Tracy Ham. It's 2nd and goal on about the 3-yard line, and he lays it out there about 25 yards to Reggie Perry, and he makes an excellent catch as far as concentration, bringing the ball in for the major.
That's not bad for a former fullback from USC, Reggie Perry. What I want to know is how would Kepley have covered him and made the good drop coming out of that linebacking spot?
I yelled, held, gave the switch, and gave it to the halfback on the other side. Now we're going to stick with that big fullback somewhere.
Somehow I kind of thought that. We're tied at 17 apiece. One half of football down. Don't go away. A lot more coming up out of the Alamo Dome. CFL Primetime on ESPN.
California 90254. ESPN2's Beyond the Border Adventure. Your chance to take the road less traveled. Brought to you by Taco Bell.
Tied at 17 apiece. Baltimore head coach Don Matthews with us. Don, are they showing different looks, changing things up defensively from a week ago on you this ball game?
Yeah, they surely are. They've got a cover guy in at safety, and they're bringing down, playing a lot more cover one and a lot more zero coverage, and we've just got to adjust to that.
Coach, they're having a little success hitting the seam routes and picking a little bit on the safety, Lester Smith.
Well, yeah, and they're dumping it underneath. We're playing a little zone, but I think we've got it all straightened out. We're going to be fine this half.
Don, thank you very much. Good luck in the second half.
Right,
Don Matthews, the head coach of the Baltimore Stallions. Let's take a look at the numbers from the first 30 minutes of action out of the Alamo Dome on this night that finds us tied at 17 apiece. And there you see, kept disparity in terms of David Archer getting things flowing, especially after that first quarter when they started out rather stagnant.
Fairly big discrepancy in this passing yardage at 198 as opposed to Tracy Ham at 116. But there still is the rushing yardage is down considerably. But as long as they're able to get some kind of balance to rush it just enough to open up that throwing game, David Archer will have some success.
Tracy Ham, who had success in his last couple of drives in the first half after certainly, as Coach Matthews just talked about, seeing different looks from that San Antonio secondary. So give a lot of credit to certainly the defensive coordinator, Bill Bradley, the former Philadelphia Eagle, Danny, because he certainly said we knew he had to do something after last week after Ham went wild.
And Bill Bradley's been in this organization for a number of years, used to be the defensive coordinator for the Calgary Stampeders, so he knows this game extremely well, and he must be just really just chomping at the bit to have the quality of athletes that he can have, particularly in the secondary with the speed that they have to be able to do the things that he wants on his X's and O's.
How big do you think this would be for San Antonio in terms of what impetus this would give them? First home game regular season this year if they were able to get a win out of here.
Well, I think it's a great thing. It's a confidence builder. They're coming back with their tails tucked between their legs after that 50-24 loss last week. They have better athletes than that. I'm sure that David Archer believes that. I'm sure that Kay Stevenson believes that. Now they need to go out there and prove it not only to themselves, but the fans that are here in the Alamo Dome.
All right, sit back and enjoy. Baltimore Stallions going to get their hands on the football to start this second half. Again, they'll stay away. Chris Wright out over the 40 to about the 44-yard line. Baltimore showing a lot of reverse and fake reverse off kickoffs, and Roman Anderson that time found the top special teams guy on returns in the CFL, Chris Wright.
Well, sometimes when you start faking that stuff, you're creating a situation that you're making the coverage team be a little bit more disciplined and stay in their lanes and stay wider so they don't get to really focus down on just one return guy coming up and maybe getting a great shot creating a turnover.
Chris Wright certainly burned the San Antonio special teams last week with that big 69-yard punt return. He had one against BC in the opener of 58 yards for 6. Tracy Ham going to work from the 45 off play action. In route, right on the money. Shannon Culver on that post went upstairs to make the grab. First down into San Antonio territory at about the 52-yard line.
Hurry up offense by Tracy Ham. He's going to try to make a lot of things happen. But as he throws the ball, it's just a quick in, and as that receiver is running away from the defender, he creates a lot of cushion, and Tracy Ham makes no mistake about putting the ball on the money.
This is an exceptional quartet of receivers for Tracy Ham. Shannon Culver, Robert Clark, Chris Armstrong, and Reggie Perry. You've seen every one of them at work tonight except Robert Clark. Ham off the waggle right, being chased, threw it away, no flag. Ham was in the grasp of San Antonio's James King. That big defensive end had Ham in his sights.
Now, James King played this exceptionally well. Inside fake, he's going to take it, and then he wants to come outside with it, but King's going to have nothing to do with it. Plays a good contain. All he wants to do is grab a little claw, gets the hands on Tracy Ham, and forces it to throw the ball in the vicinity of Reggie Perry.
Kepi was in the grass, but obviously with Perry in the vicinity, that negated Ham getting flagged for that intentional grounding.
Absolutely.
Second down and 10 now from the 52. Ham out of the shotgun. Guns that out route. Exceptional grab by Chris Armstrong. First down inside the 40, down to the 38. Ham was on the wrong side of Armstrong, who adjusted and made the terrific catch.
Just a half sprint out to the left, and Trace sets it up really quickly, throws the ball slightly behind Armstrong. Jason Wallace not as tight a coverage as he thought he had, or he could have made a break on that ball and maybe have knocked it down. The ball was thrown behind Armstrong, but he does an extra job of adjusting to it and brings it in for the reception.
How about these two guys, huh? They played together 25 football games. Tracy Ham, Chris Armstrong. They've run up 23 TDs. First and 10 now from the 37. A delay into the middle. Ham connects with his receiver, Mike Pringle. Pringle got knocked down at about the 34-yard line, so the Ham-Pringle connection good for 4.
What you're going to see is a Tracy Ham offense at his best. nickel and dime. He's going to pick you to pieces, run the ball inside, scramble a little bit, throw the ball to the wideout, dump the ball to the backs. He is going to make you respect every weapon that he has on the offensive side of the ball.
Tracy Ham's starting to heat up now after he had the very slow start in the first quarter. He did catch fire in the second quarter. You see the numbers now. At one point, he was just 2 for 9. Second and let's call it 5 from the 33. Inside trap, Mike Pringle, not going to go anywhere. The hit came from Leonard Nelson. Nelson had Pringle around the ankle and took him down short of that first down stick.
Quick inside trap play. Pulled by John Earl, and all of a sudden, Nelson's not going to have anything to do with it. Trapped right behind. When the guy pulls, get in his back pocket, and he'll take you right to the ball.
That's going to send out Carlos Huerta. They're starting to call him Mr. Automatic around Baltimore. Huerta from 37 yards away on the left hash.
Great addition from that Las Vegas Posse dispersal draft.
Huerta again, plenty of distance, and knocks through his second field goal of the night. So Carlos Huerta continues his surge on the record books. Former Miami Hurricane gives the Baltimore Stallions 2017 lead as they get 3 on their first drive of the third. More coming up. CFL on ESPN.
Showtime right here.
Football fans, get ready for the all-new 1995 NFL Team Kickoff Kit. Free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. Just tell us your favorite team.
Chargers! Cowboys! 49ers, baby.
And we'll give you an exclusive team video and a fantastic new Sports Illustrated sweatshirt.
We're doing it,
Your Team Kickoff Kit starts with your official 1995 team video. Find out if your team will thrive in 95.
And we got plenty more where that came from.
You'll also get an incredible SI logo sweatshirt. Yours free through this exclusive TV offer.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hey, this is great. I'll put it on right now.
Call now. Use your credit card and you'll get 54 issues of Sports Illustrated for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. And your incredible Team Kickoff Kit is free. Nobody gives you more of your team than Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
You'll want to join us tomorrow here on ESPN, 1:30 Eastern Time, the Anheuser-Busch Golf Classic. Final round action. Some of golf's top players vie for that $198,000 first prize money. Mark McCumber, your defending champion. Speaking of champions with the leg, Carlos Huerta, he's on fire, Danny. 7 of 7. He really burned San Antonio last week when he hit 5 of 5 from field goal distance.
Strong, powerful leg, was able to kick extremely well last year for this Las Vegas Posse. And as I said, just a great addition for this already very potent scoring team of Baltimore.
Oh, Josh Miller's got it lined up at the 35 as Baltimore goes back in front once again, 20-17. Kenny Wilhite from the 14. Oh, Wilhite took a pop and went down before he could reach that 30-yard line. That special team work done by Matt Goodwin. Goodwin, that linebacker we talked about earlier, flagged down also.
That's exactly. A late flag came on the opposite side of the field. Matt Goodwin, this Baltimore team and this team for San Antonio, both of them, they have true speed. They can run
Illegal
like
block.
crazy.
San Antonio 31, 10 yards, first down.
So run like crazy on their special teams. Andy Coball gets called for the illegal block, and he backs it up 10 yards.
We'll get a look at David Archer. First time now here in the second half, as Archer had a strong first half. 13-18, 198 yards and a touchdown. On cue, you see the David Archer numbers. From their own 12. Keep it on the ground. First call to the CFL's leading rusher, Mike Saunders. Keeping those legs moving. Out over the 25 to about the 27-yard line, and very close to a first down.
Mike, as you mentioned earlier, him coming out of Iowa, that's a tough league to run in, and you can see just the power that this guy possesses. A lot of leg strength, and he's got great upper body strength also. He carries some of those Baltimore defenders along with him as he picks up additional yardage.
Good look at Saunders, as we mentioned, the Iowa Hawkeye, 205 pounds. Go right back to Mike Saunders. This time the going is tough along that left side of Baltimore's defensive front. They string it out and knock Saunders down. Only got a couple out to about the 30-yard line, so we'll call it 2nd and 8 from there.
Very conservative style of offense to come out in this opening series for David Archer.
Archer so very hot as he left in the first half. They've kept it on the ground the first two. Out of the shotgun for Archer from the 30. Going to go deep up that right sideline, laying out Joe Kralik. Got a flag back in the offensive backfield of San Antonio.
Mike, what I think we're going to get is an offside call against Baltimore. And David Archer will get another play, another shot at this. There's a great look at O.J. Brigance.
Offside. Baltimore 56. 5 yards, 2nd down repeat.
So David Archer will get that other shot now to pick up this first down. We'll redo that down, call it 2nd and 5. Archer had a quick chat, and he's back in that huddle and ready to go.
After the penalty, 2nd down and 3.
Very key now, if it's not there downtown a little bit, get it somewhere where you can dump it off and pick this first down up for David Archer.
5 receivers left. Archer guns into the middle. Wide open. Foot race. Inside the 35 down to the 30-yard line. Outstanding shot from David Archer to Mike Dingle, the big 240-pounder. They had 5 receivers on the left side, and Dingle busted free.
This is a big guy, 6'3", 240, as you say, out of South Carolina. He was in camp earlier this season, but he was cut. And then they re-signed him about a week ago. Blown coverage in the Baltimore secondary to allow a receiver to be this wide open coming down the field. But the one thing that Kay Stevenson likes about this guy, he's got great hands, he says.
Down to the 31-yard line. Got some speed, too. What a combination. He and Tony Burse at that fullback spot. Burse back in with Saunders. The call is to Mike Saunders trying to get to that corner. Outstanding work to string that out from that linebacker, Matt Goodwin. Came into the game with 7 hits on the year. He stood Saunders up and rode him out of bounds.
Coach Matthews has always been noted to play a very disciplined style defense. Get into your gaps, do your job, string this thing out along the sidelines, get Saunders running north and south. Don't let him gain very many yards.
Mike Saunders with that touchdown, John, and that toss sweep in the first half. 2nd down and 8 now from the 30 for David Archer. Archer almost had it picked off. He threw that football right into the hands of Tracy Gravely. Gravely had the INT right there and didn't want it.
That ball looked like it almost scared Tracy Gravely because he wasn't expecting it to come. It's a little bit of a knuckleball, and you can see as he's backing up, he's really not looking that ball in, but it's a perfectly thrown interception ball. Tracy just took his eyes off of it ever so slightly. Tracy Gravely, one of those kind of players that started off in this league playing halfback and for the BC Lions for a number of years and has become that outside linebacker, 6'3", about 210 pounds.
Roman Anderson to try to tie it up from 37 yards away. He's perfect. Roman Anderson and Carlos Huerta matching field goals. We're going to chat with Baltimore Stallion owner Jim Spiros coming up in a minute. We're tied at 20 out of the Alamo Dome.
This is you. This is the commercial you see. This is the number you call. This is the box that comes. This is the machine you get. This is the number you call. These are the exercises you do. This is how long it takes. This is how often you do it. This is the number you call. This is how you'll feel when you're done. The SoloFlex Muscle Machine. Call now for a free brochure and video. This is the number you call.
When life becomes a battleground, your mind is your best weapon. Dianetics. Get it, read it, use it, and learn how to free your full potential. Dianetics. Get your copy now, wherever paperbacks are sold, or call 1-800-652-4466.
Back inside the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas. Good to have you along. CFL going primetime on ESPN. We're tied at 20 apiece. Michael Regai along with Dan Kepley, and we're pleased to be joined by the president and owner of the Baltimore Stallions, Jim Spiros. Jim, pleasure to have you with us here in the booth. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Dan. Nice seeing you. This is CFL action's all about right here. This is a great football team we're playing here tonight. We knew coming down here to the Alamo Dome was going to be a tough game going back-to-back with this team.
What a great house to play in, huh?
Oh, I'll tell you, this is super. I'm really happy for Fred Anderson and Tom Bass and the whole organization here because they've got a great crowd. They've seen an exciting football game, and I have no doubt that these Texans here are going to do very well in Texas.
Mr. Anderson has been one of these guys over the past year that really does believe in the CFL, doesn't he?
He's been here from the beginning. He started with one of the first teams in the CFL.
Chris Wright from the 12 for Baltimore. Wright trying to get to the corner. Look at the wheels of Chris Wright in open spaces. Wright finally taken down as he crossed the 50-yard line. The hit came from San Antonio's Malcolm Frank. Outstanding return from the best in the CFL, Chris Wright, an explosive runner after he grabs the football.
It doesn't take much for him to make something big happen, and that is the key to this thing because everybody on that special team of Baltimore knows all I have to do is get my job, get my block, and this kid will make a lot of things happen for you. Instant field position for Tracy Ham and the Baltimore offense.
Jim Spiros, want to talk about Chris Wright after this first offensive play for your football team. Tracy Ham now. We're tied at 20 apiece. 7:51 left in the third. He'll operate from his own 51. The call goes to Mike Pringle. Not much there as Pringle got stacked up. Those active linebackers led by Tommy Smith of San Antonio on the stop. Jim, last week, very big for you. Memorial Stadium, you're at home. The name change. The new name comes out. I heard you're even on the horse. What's that all about? Let's take a look at this. Look at what's Jim Spiros doing up on the horse.
What, I'm learning how to ride real quick here. You know, I'm going to a question center there in Baltimore to learn. But it was very important that our team had a name to start this season with, and our players and coaching staff deserve it.
Tracy Ham now operating on 2nd down and 8. Ham throwing that out route, grabbed by Chris Armstrong before he stepped out of bounds. Real close to those first down sticks, but it's going to come up a little bit short for Don Matthews' football team.
Tommy Smith comes from the backside, and he just blindsides Tracy Ham just as he releases the ball. Take a look at this, coming right at you. Tracy just takes a great shot, takes a look at it, completes the pass. And it's always easier to get up after a completion. Tracy Ham is a tough competitor in the CFL. Coach, you look, like you say, you look pretty comfortable in that horse. They may sign you up for the Calgary Stampede and get you riding some of that real stuff coming out of the chute.
Well, I tell you what, after the long battle we had with the NFL, Dan, it was just important that we had our own identity for the team. So the timing was right. We had to wait for the Rams to move to St. Louis, and the NFL did release the name, so we were able to use the name. I'm very happy. The Stallions fits our team. It's a strong, a strong name that goes with our logo.
You see Tracy Ham being assisted off by the medical staff of the Baltimore Stallions. So we'll keep an eye on Ham after he took that big wallop from that blitzing linebacker, Tommy Smith. Well, San Antonio's defense holding Ham and the Stallion offense down. Josh Miller's got to hit it away. Kenny Wilhite in single safety standing back at his own 7-yard line. Miller got it to turn over for him. Wilhite from the 1. Not a lot of room, but Kenny Wilhite will bounce his way out over the 10 to about the 14-yard line. So 13-yard punt return for Kenny Wilhite of San Antonio.
Jim, there's a lot of things, as I said, there's a lot of things happening, the good thing, the names and everything else, and there's some good things happening. You're also on the television committee, some good articles coming out and some things that maybe need to straighten out a little bit.
That's correct. We're very happy. We're growing. As this league grows in the United States, that we have a television partner such as ESPN. I mean, the graphics that you guys are doing and the coverage you're giving us in our league is very important to this. At this point in time, as we grow and expand in the U.S., and Larry Smith feels very strong, and so do all the other governors, that we're going to be with ESPN for a long time, Dan.
Well, let's pick up on that as soon as we get finished with this play.
David Archer's going to keep it on the ground. Mike Saunders trying to wriggle out of a tackle. Lowers his shoulder and bangs his way over the 20-yard line. So Mike Saunders, leading rusher in the CFL, showing you his power in combination with the speed that he has.
Not the kind of guy that you want to ever try to tackle down lower in that power where his legs are. Get him in the thighs, not a chance. You better get down around low around his ankles, or he has the opportunity to run over you. He's a powerful runner, both with that leg strength and the upper body strength.
You see the Saunders numbers. Let's call it 2nd and 2 from the 23. Keep it on the ground. Again, the call goes to Mike Saunders. First down out over the 25 to the 27-yard line. Jim Spiros, you have television committee meetings and meetings coming up at the end of this month. What do you anticipate? What do you expect out of those?
Well, I expect that we're going to sign a longer television contract with you people at ESPN, and for both ESPN1 and ESPN2. And again, I think it's very important as we grow in the United States that ESPN is there right with us.
Jim, are you actually got your name down on the bottom of the chest? Can Mike and I maybe stop by and negotiate a little bit something with you for a possible raise or something?
You better talk to Larry Smith about that one.
Mike Sanders breaking tackles again out over the 30-yard line as that Baltimore defense strung him out. So Saunders on 3 consecutive calls. Jim Spiros, we appreciate your time. Always good to see you. Continued success with the Baltimore Stallions.
And Dan, I think Don Matthews may have an extra check for you down there.
Okay? I appreciate it. After the way he played me and protected me for a lot of years in there, I made a little bit of money, so I'm indebted to him dearly.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jim.
Good seeing you, Jim. Obviously, big things on the horizon for this Canadian Football League, as you heard from Baltimore president and owner Jim Spiros. David Archer on first down throws that little hitch route into the middle of Billy Hess, that possession receiver. Hess with his 3rd catch of the night, only 5'8", 175 pounds. He can find some seams, Dan.
Well, that's all he's doing. They're just getting down in front of the zone, running down the seam route, find the open area, and working away in that zone, or working away from the halfback or the cornerback. Hey, that's pretty exciting. We may be getting a raise.
You think so?
Well, I don't know. I'm not real sure, but I think we're going to have to
I got a feeling your buddy Matthews is going to take care of you from listening to that.
You can take a look. The training staff taking a good look at Tracy Ham in his back and his rib area.
1st and 10 from the 46. Almost picked off by Matt Goodwin. The out route was read by Goodwin as Mike Saunders was covered perfectly. Archer almost was picked off.
Doctor's got the stethoscope out and having Tracy Ham take some deep breaths. Certainly you don't want to see anybody of that caliber go down in this league. He's such an entertaining athlete.
Sean Jones, a 2nd-year performer out of Georgia Tech, warming up on the sideline of the Baltimore Stallions if he is needed on that next possession. 2nd and 10, San Antonio. We're tied at 20 apiece as David Archer going to work. Wide open in the middle, and on the money is Archer to Joey Kralik down at the 40-yard line. 24 yards and a first down on the hookup from David Archer to Joe Kralik on that post cut.
If you remember at the beginning of the game, David Archer talking about this field lends itself to throwing the kind of passes that you wouldn't see in the NFL. When that wide out goes all the way almost to the sideline, Mark Stock is there, and also Kralik. When he goes to the wide out, he breaks to the end or the post. That is a long way for the safety to go, and it makes an easy pitch and catch for Archer and his wideouts.
David Archer with a hot hand going to go up top and leading Joey Kralik a little bit too much. That time the coverage was strong from Baltimore's free safety, Lester Smith, one of the best in the CFL. We're tied at 20 apiece. 2:42 left in the 3rd quarter. Robert Pressberry down. We'll be back to the Alamo Dome.
And action.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Again, please. Again? Again.
Art thou bored?
Yeah.
Step into a Slim Jim. Turn to the spice. That baby juicy taste. Need a little excitement? Step into a Slim Jim.
The
If the world's most passionate drivers got together to create the perfect car, you discover there's no such thing as the perfect car. There are 8 of them. The extraordinary BMW 3 Series. For a world of passionate drivers, the perfect car. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Starting at $19,900.
After taking that huge shot from Texan linebacker Tommy Smith, you see Tracy Ham being assisted off the field. Danny, you thought maybe he got a shot in that kidney area, maybe up to the ribs. We'll have to monitor him, but you think maybe he still could see some time before this is done?
Tracy is one of the toughest competitors I know. He takes a lot of hits like that. I mean, obviously, when your back is exposed, he does have a flak jacket that he wears, and certainly that creates enough protection for him. Hopefully that was just a bruise that'll get in there. As precautionary, they're going to take him in, maybe take a look at it, take an x-ray or 2 of it, and then see what it is and let Tracy see how he feels, because he's the guy that ultimately needs to make the decision.
It'll more than likely be Sean Jones, the backup quarterback. He actually threw a touchdown pass late in the contest last week for Don Matthews in the win over this San Antonio Texans squad. But right now, David Archer with his ball club on the move.
Sean Jones, as you said, he was 1 for 1 last week with a 5-yard touchdown. Pretty good percentage.
Might as well get into the zone if you're going to throw one. Archer on 2nd and 10. Archer airing it out, left side, stock coverage there, and almost picked off, as coming up from that safety spot for Baltimore was Charles Anthony. Anthony helped out on the double coverage of Mark Stock.
Anthony, the halfback on that side, just playing the deep 3rd zone, and does a good job of playing center field. Comes up, and if he went up with the highest point, caught the ball, he had an opportunity for a pick. Just didn't look the ball in. But he didn't allow San Antonio to complete the pass.
Out of the hold of Jim Kemp, Roman Anderson trying to unknot this deadlock from 48 yards away. Does it have enough leg? It's good. Roman Anderson continues to be dead letter perfect as he and Carlos Huerta trade 3-point shots. San Antonio back on top, 23-20.
Has to be very uplifting. Even when the offense is sputtering a little bit, you don't get the major scores, obviously, that you'd like to have, but you're not coming away empty-handed. Take a look. Wishful thinking as he lines it up. Ball's kicked extremely high, and it just hangs and hangs. And clears it by about 4 yards.
Roman Anderson 3 for 3 tonight. He's hit from 30, he's hit from 37, and he's hit from 48, and he's got San Antonio back on top by 3. Hey, you won't want to miss In the Sports Light with ESPN's Robin Roberts. 7:30 Eastern on Monday. Robin's on location. This is her 4th installment of this popular Sports Center special. Coaches Craig T. Nelson is going to be there. Also, Hootie and the Blowfish. That's one of America's top new bands. And I hear that Olbermann and Patrick and Craig Kilborn and all the guys are in Hootie's new video.
Isn't this something?
Yeah.
Talented guys we're working with.
That onside kick from San Antonio's special teams comes down into the hands of Robert Drummond for Baltimore. So trying to punch it up there, Roman Anderson, and keep the football in the possession. That's once we've seen each ball club now try it tonight.
Just a little bit on Roman Anderson. The way he got that name, his godfather, great quarterback in his own right, Roman Gabriel.
Absolutely.
Back in that North Carolina area where I'm from.
That's where you're from, huh?
Just outside of Charlotte.
Okay, that triangle. Well, Roman Gabriel certainly knew his way around that Carolina area. Sean Jones, the 2nd-year performer now out of Georgia Tech, taking over for the injured Tracy Ham. Off play action, Jones in all kinds of trouble. Putting it up for grabs. Look at Armstrong bail him out with the sensational grab. Oh, how about Chris Armstrong? Sweet catch, staying inbounds.
Terrific footwork by Sean Jones to get away from some heat and just lays the ball out up in the middle of a crowd. Watch the footwork and the speed. Now, this is a a defensive team that's been chasing around Tracy Ham for 2.5 quarters, almost 3 quarters now. You got some fresh legs in there. One key rule that we should play today in the CFL, to constitute a reception, you only have to have 1 foot in and possession of the ball.
Very good point. Armstrong did that on 1st and 10 from the 36. Jones will gun that quick out into the hands of Shannon Culver. He got met right away and taken down. That San Antonio defense, Jason Wallace over there to put some plastic on Culver.
I'm impressed with the courage of this young quarterback coming in. When he throws the wide side out, that's almost throwing the ball about 40 to 45 yards. If it's underthrown at all, it could be 6 going the other way.
Well, that's going back with a lot of green in front of it, isn't it? So give that hook up from Sean Jones to Shannon Culver for 2nd and 6 now from the 33. Wide open is Mike Pringle. Pringle trying to get to those first down sticks, took a hit at the 25, but he got there inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Malcolm Franks coming up to lay out Mike Pringle.
Quarterback with a lot of patience, looks downfield, doesn't see anything down, and all he wants to do, then he dumps it off to the man. All he has to do is get it into this all-star's hands, and he can make big things happen at any time. Great pursuit by this Texan defense.
How about the presence and poise of this young quarterback out of ACC country at Georgia Tech, Dan? Sean Jones showing you what he's about, taking his ball club downfield. Inside trap, Mike Pringle moving the pile. Down inside the 20, real close to that 15-yard line and close to another first down.
Mike, you know what's really great when you see this ball club seem to rally when all of a sudden they've lost one of their warriors in Tracy Ham. Everybody seems to rise up just an extra level to make a little something happen to try to make up for the possible loss of Tracy Ham in this ball game.
We have ended the 3rd quarter, so 45 minutes of football down. Don't go away. This 4th quarter will be exciting. San Antonio by 3. Back inside the Alamo Dome. Oh, this guy knows his way around the CFL, doesn't he?
Been around for a long time. Crazy George used to be the mascot out there with the BC Lions. He would get them rocking and rolling. Now, this guy was there when I was playing. He's not only crazy, he's a little old right now, too.
He still looks to be in game shape, though, Kep.
I don't know. If some of those guys out there on the field could play with the intensity he has on the sideline.
Sean Jones in relief of the injured Tracy Ham. Keep it on the ground. Mike Pringle on the call on 2nd and short. Pringle appears to have gotten beyond the sticks and enough for that first down. The line to make was at the 14, and they'll umpile Pringle at about the 12. First down for the Baltimore Stallions.
Mike Pringle set a record in the CFL last year, 1,972 yards. 16 touchdowns. He had 800-yard games, 3 of those 200-yard games, and the Baltimore team was 8-0 when Michael rushed for over 100 yards.
And he's over that now. On that deep fade to the corner for Culver, he laid out in and out of his hands, incomplete. Hey, Sean Jones put that football on the money.
Malcolm Frank said, you're not getting this. No chance. You come over here and test me. I'll turn, run upfield with him. And he did an excellent job, but it was a great throw by the young quarterback.
Cover guys in this league, you have to be exceptional because of, we talked about it, the amount of territory you got to cover, your areas of responsibility are heightened.
When you talk about being on an island on the corner, you're talking about a big island out there in the CFL.
With receivers like Armstrong and Perry and Culver and Robert Clark to contend with. 2nd and 10. On that inside delay, Pringle, down he goes as San Antonio's defense swarming to make the stop. Big Willie Fears put his helmet right in the numbers of Mike Pringle.
Temper starting to flare a bit out there, and you could just see some real heat starting to battle up between these two teams, some fierce competition. This doesn't look to be a real good call play in some place where it's handed deep and all of a sudden Mike Pringle's trying to break it to the outside. Could be just some miscommunication between the veteran running back and the young quarterback.
Carlos Huerta on for what for him is a chip shot. Huerta's hit 7 in a row dating back to last week out of the hold of Dan Crowley from the 23. Huerta, that's easy. And we're tied at 23 apiece as Carlos Huerta matches his opposite number, Roman Anderson, each of them with 3 field goal hits on the night.
Flag down.
So 2 minutes into the
no
fourth
infraction on the
quarter.
play. Field goal stand.
No flag on the play. The field goal does stand.
Carlos Huerta, as we said, connects to tie us at 23. A lot of action at the Alamo Dome. Huerta's tied it up. We'll be right back on ESPN.
400 of the world's most daring athletes, 27 different radical.
Outstanding CFL primetime tonight out of the Alamo Dome. But tomorrow night, Sunday Night Baseball, second half of the American League campaign. Big Juan Gonzalez with his home run bat in Fenway Park attacking the Green Monster against Mo Vaughn. Texas Rangers and Boston Red Sox. It's the finale of a 4-game set. Both these ball clubs looking to win their respective divisions. Boston in the East and Texas in the Central. The West, excuse me. Thinking about the Cleveland Indians, Danny.
Can you imagine those two guys in football gear?
Gonzalez and Vaughn?
I think they could play.
I think Vaughn should have had football gear on the other night. He got into a little bit of an altercation in Beantown and missed a ball game on Friday. David Archer back to work. 12:54 left in it. Nothing settled yet. We're tied at 23. This is Mike Saunders on an isolation blast out over the 35. About the 39. We'll give Saunders 4. Let's call it 2nd and 6 for Archer in San Antonio.
Creating a good situation for David Archer. 2nd and not too long, but he opens him up to either run the ball still with Mike Saunders or hit those little inside seam routes, those quick hooks that he's had great success with through the course of this ball game.
5 wides for David Archer on 2nd and 6. Pocket collapsing. Swing at Tony Burse. Good move, but not enough for that first down. He could not get out of the sights
Up quickly with a tackle, number 7,
of Tracy Gravely. So San Antonio is going to have to punt it away. We hear from down in the Baltimore training room that x-rays have been taken on Tracy Ham. Maybe he'll come back as we wind this thing down in the 4th quarter. But right now it's Sean Jones' football game, it would appear. Rushes on, and they'll pull it back as Chris Wright's going to get another opportunity. Top return man in the CFL from the 27, and look out up over the 40 as Wright goes airborne to about the 42-yard line. 15-yard return for Chris Wright. We're tied at 23. Baltimore and San Antonio. A lot of bodies continue to have problems on this evening inside the Alamo Dome. We're tied at 23 apiece as you see leaving the football field without any assistance, seeming to be able to get off in his own good stead. For San Antonio this evening, Joe Garton, one of those special team performers. Garton, a backup offensive lineman.
This is a physical game out there so far. I mean, there's a lot of pounding going on. Plus, when you're pounding, complicated by the fact that AstroTurf is pretty tough on you. It doesn't give quite as well as the grass does.
Inside the Alamo Dome, good to have you along on the CFL Primetime on ESPN in San Antonio, Texas, along with Dan Kepley. I'm Michael Regai, as we're all knotted up at 23 apiece with 11:41 to go, and Tracy Ham back and ready for action. So the starting signal caller, the CFL Offensive Player of the Week for his performance last week against the same Texan club, ready to go again. Throwing swing right and almost had it picked off as Roosevelt Collins, that rush defensive end, had his sights on Mike Pringle.
Very scary pass for Tracy Ham because it's a swing pass, but as he throws this ball is thrown slightly behind the running back, and if it is, in that case, that constitutes a fumble. Had the Texans probably made a big move on that play. Take a look at this. The ball's dumped. It's behind Tracy Ham, so it constitutes a lateral, I would call it. If the Texans had made a real good play on it, picked the ball up, they may have been able to convince the referee.
2nd and 10 for Tracy Ham. Sees a little bit of a seam. Does it close down on him? Yes, it does, as he crossed the 45 to about the 47. He only got 4. He needed 10. Baltimore's going to have to give up the football. Call that some good coverage work out of that San Antonio secondary.
Good coverage downfield as it is, but the thing that you want to know is about the heart of Tracy Ham. He just went out injury, got some x-rays, and if he needs to pick up the first down by scrambling, he knows he's going to get hit. That's exactly what he's going to do.
Danny, I wonder, though, Don Matthews cringed when he saw, just after being taped up, Ham tuck it up and go. Although the coverage obviously there.
Well, in some cases, he has to feel fairly comfortable with what he saw by the youngster, Sean Jones, go in there.
Oh, look at the howitzer that Will Miller hit, driving Wilhite back to the 2. Kenny Wilhite dancing, darting his way up over the 5 to the 7-yard line. Outstanding bomb hit by Miller. Dug away. We're back to the Dome, tied at 23 on ESPN. Back inside the Alamo Dome, tied at 23 apiece. Sometimes a weapon like this, Josh Miller, can change field position and certainly affect the course of the game.
Pretty much some of the best offensive plays that they've had. He's punted the ball 6 times tonight, 47.3 yards. He backs this Texan offense up deep in their own zone, and it just doesn't allow a quarterback and an offense like David Archer to start on a short field.
Leading the CFL at better than 47. He got this one a ton.
And just look at the good coverage that they have down there for Baltimore. Guys staying in their lanes, being very disciplined.
David Archer will have to start from his 7. Football loose on that inside delay as it popped out of the hands of Mike Saunders. Saunders had the presence of mind to get back on the turf and gobble it up.
David Archer trying to stretch himself to get that handoff just right over the tackle, and it looked like it hit Mike Saunders just on the hip. Never got control of the ball.
It's Baltimore defense now for Carlos Huerta. Has kept them tied at 23, trying to bow their necks. 2nd and 10 for Archer again from the 7. That screen right, Saunders looking for a block. Not going to get to those first down sticks. As that Baltimore defense now starting to get stingy. Kenny Watson, a 200-pounder, the left halfback, came up to lay the leather on Mike Saunders.
Part of being stingy is being disciplined, and this is exactly the way this defense plays. Lays back in the zone, takes everything away deep and in the seams, forces Archer to have to dump it off, and then they have the great pursuit speed to react up to it and shut it down before the first down.
Let's see now if we talked about this field position, and Miller as a weapon is going to pay dividends for Baltimore here. Jordan had the snap go awry from him. Todd's just going to boot it out of bounds, and that is going to cost the Texans of San Antonio. The officials want to confer about this. Single or safety?
This is where the ball slides through his hands, right between his legs. He has no chance. He kicks the ball out of bounds. Constitutes, I think, a safety. And then when it forces him to kick the ball off again, and you can see that Don Matthews is calling the safety.
Well, it would have to be.
And then that would allow Baltimore to receive the ball. They would kick the ball from the 35-yard line.
Don Matthews saying that's got to be a safety. Todd Jordan mishandles the snap.
The ball was kicked out of bounds in the end zone by San Antonio. Baltimore takes a safety touch. San Antonio kicks off.
This lack of concentration, the ball goes right between his hands and right between his legs. But he does have the presence of mind to kick the ball out of bounds, give up only 2 points, not try to fumble around with it, and hopefully then he doesn't allow Baltimore to recover it for a major score.
2-point safety called against San Antonio. Our new score, Baltimore 20.
So Todd Jordan, who has had some difficult times this year, unfortunately for the San Antonio cause, has another one befall him. Don Matthews and his Baltimore special teams ringing up the 2-point safety as they go back on top, 25-23, and more importantly, get the football.
Coach Matthews is very, very instrumental in his special teams play. He gets out there and he likes to be the special teams coach. He gets involved with these guys, and he just has the ability to create so much desire from you as an athlete. You want to go out there and win desperately for him.
The Alamo Dome crowd trying to let their Texans hear about it now, as their defense will have the chore of trying to get the football back. Roman Anderson Going to give Kenny Wright a shot from the 13. Look at the speed of Wright as he rips his way out over the 35 to the 38-yard line. And that's where the Baltimore Stallions will begin this offensive drive. 9:25 left. Stallions on top by 2.
What an electrifying athlete Chris Wright is. I think he only knows one speed. That's about warp 6. When he turns the afterburners on and hits a hole, he's either going to hit the hole and break it big, or he's going to run over somebody or take a lot of punishments in doing so. And what he does, he just keeps doing it every time they punt the ball to him.
Does he ever throttle it down?
Great stamina.
I don't think so. Tracy Ham, who took a shot, got repaired and is back in the contest and looking to put it up. Dump it off into the middle to Robert Drummond, and he got nailed. That San Antonio defense had Drummond right where they wanted him. Grady Cavness came up on the hit on Robert Drummond after the hookup from Ham, and Drummond only got 1.
Tracy trying to buy a little time, and he sets up Drummond for the screen, comes outside, but Grady Cavendish does an excellent job of beating the block, gets upfield, and makes a good, solid technique tackle on the big back, Robert Drummond.
Drummond along with Robert Clark, Reggie Perry, 3 wides left. Flag coming out of that defensive secondary of San Antonio.
Time count violation.
Yeah, that's going to cost Tracy Ham in this Baltimore offense. You see the play clock, it hit
Time
0.
count violation.
And
Baltimore number 8, 5-yard penalty.
One of the other big changes and the differences between the CFL and the NFL, there is only 20 seconds in between plays to get that play off. So it's not a long time once you get up to the line of scrimmage as a quarterback, trying to see what's happening, what kind of defense, and read it, and they maybe have to call an audible.
I like that 20-second clock, all a part of making this game certainly more offensive appealing and exciting to its followers.
Part of this game is built on speed.
Tracy Ham backed up, looking now at 2nd and 14. Gonna air it deep. Culver trying to stretch out at the 45 and had the football go through his hands. Incomplete.
Straight drop back pass, and he just airs it out. And Shanakova does an excellent job of getting inside of Bobby Humphries. The ball just passed his outstretched hands. Culver with some excellent speed breaking to the post.
This 4th quarter has turned into a game of field position, and certainly right now Baltimore holding that weapon with their outstanding punter Josh Miller. Miller got it away from the 25. Again, spiraling down. Kenny Wilhite. Wilhite running into about 5 white-shirted Stallions as he crossed the 30. Josh Miller continuing to be an effective 4th quarter weapon for the Baltimore Stallions. You Formula One Grand Prix fans, tomorrow the guys are driving overseas in Britain. It'll all begin at 8:50 in the morning Eastern time. Top Formula One racers from Silverstone, Britain, and it features the current points leader and last year's Formula One champion Michael Schumacher, who just won the French Grand Prix. Check it out, Formula One Grand Prix tomorrow morning here on ESPN. David Archer starting from his own 33. Archer standing tall in the pocket, put it on the hands of Mike Saunders, who couldn't reel it in out near the midfield stripe.
Perfect matchup that you would want to get in this case. Saunders coming out of the backfield one-on-one against the linebacker. That's Matt Goodwin, and he just slides in right behind him. But David Archer had to release that ball a little quicker than he wanted to, or else that could have been a big game for the Texans.
Saw that excellent shot that our ESPN crew under the direction of director Steve Lanchet got from you. You can see the precision with Archer throws the football. 2nd and 10. Archer feels that pocket caving in. Found Saunders out in the flat, but Mike's not going to get a chance to get to those first down sticks. Again, Tracy Gravely, and he got some help from Kenny Watson. Well, they've got Saunders in their sights as he comes out of the backfield.
Well, right now, it just seems like that Archer has created a situation where the defense can key on Saunders a lot. He had some success earlier going to Stock and to go to Kralik. So come back and start throwing that ball a little bit out, spread them out a little bit further. because, as I said, it's 2nd and long. You dump the ball off like that. Good defensive teams have the speed to react up to it, and they're just going to break down as Gravely did, make the tackle before the first down.
We go inside the 7-minute mark left in the contest. This time Jordan handled it but didn't get it to turn for him. Field position will be strong after that 7-yard return by Chris Wright up to the 50-yard line. So that's where Baltimore will start in this defensive dominated now 4th quarter of play.
Starting to get 2 quarterbacks very conservative defensively, being able to come up with some big plays and taking away what they're trying to do downtown, forcing them to dump it deep, shutting down the running game.
Oh, Tracy Ham back on the football field. We'll talk about that offensive line of his. It's led by Shar Pordanis. Pordanis, the CFL All-Star, and certainly the ringleader of that offensive front. Trying to do the job and expand this lead tonight. Ham from the 50. On that inside flip to Mike Pringle, had room as he crossed the midfield stripe. Outstanding takedown by Jason Wallace. Wallace, that right halfback, the 3rd-year performer. Oh, Pringle had some green if Wallace wasn't there.
Set up perfectly, shuttle pass, just shovel pass inside as Tracy takes it back. Pulls the right guard, wide open field, but Jason Wallace, just a shoestring gap. What an excellent tackle in the open field, or else Mike Pringle was heading to pay dirt.
You can't draw it up or teach it any better than Jason Wallace did it there. 1-on-1. 2nd down and 4 just across the midfield stripe. Robert Drummond trying to get to the corner. Strong effort by Drummond. Got that first down with a lean inside the 50 down to close to that 48-yard line. That's speed to get to that corner.
Excellent speed for a big guy. 6'3", 215 pounds. He's out of Syracuse. Was an integral part in why Baltimore was able to get to the Grey Cup last year. Good pursuit angle by Dave Harper, the linebacker. He just underestimated the turn of speed as soon as he got around the corner. And Wallace had to come and clean it up after that. University of Virginia most valuable player in 1991.
The Wahoos. Wallace 2 straight hits. On that inside delay, Mike Pringle looking for running room. Didn't find much. He was trying to follow that block of Shar Pordanis, but ran into some heavy traffic after a gain of, let's call it 2, down to the 46-yard line of San Antonio. That denotes, Dan Kepley, that with those numbers over 100 again, Baltimore perfect 8-0 when Pringle goes over the century mark.
Well, and they won last week against this Texan team. Pringle only had 99, so maybe we can give him the 100 on that game.
Ham flipping that quick out route, got it in the hands of big Robert Drummond down there, down at about the 41-yard line. Drummond took the hit from Tommy Smith. Smith, real strong cover linebacker for K. Stevenson in San Antonio.
This kind of shows you the kind of versatility that a Robert Drummond has. Now, they line him up as a wideout, and they're really trying to create some kind of mismatch if you happen to be in man coverage, and you're going to send a linebacker out there to run one-on-one with this guy. You better holler for help somewhere or give him a lot of cushion and make him throw it in front of you, because this guy can run and he can catch.
Carlos Huerta trying to stretch this Baltimore lead. He's 3 for 3 tonight. This one will be from 48 yards away. Huerta again ringing it up from 48 yards out. Carlos Huerta. Oh, is he an offensive weapon or what for Don Matthews and the Stallions of Baltimore? 48-yard field goal hit from Huerta. With 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, that's key. It pushes this Baltimore advantage up to 5.
What a happy punter and what a happy place to play for a field goal kicker to be here. And he's got great snap guys, good hole guys. You can see the minute that he hits it, it's almost like a drive on a golf course. All of a sudden you're standing up there and you just know when you've hit it sweet or when you know you hit one out of the park. And you can look at the expression on his face. He knew that that was good the minute it touched his foot.
Former Miami Hurricane. That guy's been in a lot of big football games from that college program, and certainly with a big smile, 4 for 4. So San Antonio will take it from their own 35-yard line, and David Archer on that inside trap going to keep it on the ground. Mike Saunders finds Rugged going, only got 2.
Okay, now I got to ask you, he had some great success second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, throwing to that quick hitch routes, to the seam routes, And now all of a sudden, he's gotten a little conservative here in the fourth quarter of rushing the ball. I wonder where his passing or where his confidence for passing, it seems like, has gone away a little bit.
Good point, Kep. They were able to hit some things on those deep square ends and deep posts to both Stock and Craley. Archer needs one here on 2nd and 8. A lot of pressure, David Archer. Now he's going to tuck it up and go. Going to come up a little bit short of the first down sticks. Archer needed to get to the 45-yard line. Only got to about the 44, 3rd and a long one. You hear the Alamo Dome crowd.
This is a crowd that wants them to go for it, but I don't think they're having some indecisiveness on the sideline of San Antonio. David Archer's in, still in the huddle. Nothing's coming off the sideline, so he's going to go for it.
Well, they were going to send that jumbo in with Big Joe Garton in that offensive line, but now Archer, maybe the biggest play of the football game. Texans down by 5 as we approach the 3-minute mark. Saunders got met. Did he get there? That extra surge may have got it, but it depends on the spot.
Where the linesman's going to mark it, it's short. Great explosion by this Baltimore defensive front. And it all depends on this spot.
Well, the guy with all the power right now, referee David Ewell and his crew. And they marked it a little bit short. As I mentioned a moment ago, the line to make was just a shade over that 45-yard line, and they did not get there. Baltimore Stallions defensively been dominant here in the 4th. Their lead is 5, under 3 left. Back up their win over San Antonio last week and do it again here on the road. They're up by 5 inside the 3-minute mark. You won't want to go away, though, because coming up on ESPN Sports Center, they will take a look at 3rd round of U.S. Women's Open activity. It's a big night, as always, around the diamonds of Major League Baseball. And a quarterback has signed with the Carolina Panthers, the flinger from Penn State. All of that coming up on Sports Center. Speaking of quarterbacks, Tracy Ham along with Mike Whitcomb and that Baltimore offensive unit now, Danny, going to try to salt this thing away.
He's got the kind of offense that can do that. He's very patient. He works the 2-minute drill extremely well. 2 minutes and 46 seconds left to go in this game, and he's got the kind of back power and offensive power that can get it done.
Call goes to Mike Pringle, working off that right side. Got the good blocks over there, down inside the 40-yard line. Pringle banged out a tough, let's give him 6 yards for Mike Pringle as he adds to that impressive 100-yard plus total on the evening.
In the Canadian Football League, the clock will stop after every play in the final 3 minutes and start again as soon as the ball.
As we mentioned to you a moment ago, yes, they are unblemished, are the Baltimore Stallions, when Mike Pringle goes over the century mark. I'd say he's accomplished that and then some. Got 4 on 1st down. Call it 2nd down. Got 6 rather. Call it 2nd and 4. Pringle got tripped up as he hit the line of scrimmage, tried to surge forward. You saw the flags come out of the secondary.
Late flag coming in there usually means holding against Baltimore. Just while we're on the topic of Mike Pringle again, just to tell you a few things about his numbers. We've been telling his rushing numbers, how many times they win. Last year in 1994, he had 3,228 all-purpose yards.
Baltimore 65, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down repeat.
Which was only 73 yards shy of a CFL record held by Mike Pinball Clemens, who plays with Toronto.
I love the pinball.
Isn't he something?
I love him.
He's as exciting a football player as you want to see in this league, in any league, really.
Speaking of Mikes, there's a Mike, young man by the name of Mike Whitcomb. Big fella. Moving over, centering tonight because Nick Subas, the all-CFL center, down. Take a look at the indiscretions this evening on both ball clubs. 2:13 left. Ham, quick in route. In and out of the hands of Shannon Culver. That was dangerous. That football was free in the air for a minute, and Shannon Culver couldn't corral it.
Quick hitch and sets up the screen coming down inside. And what Shannon Culver wants to do, it's either catch the ball. If not, don't tip the ball forward where you're tipping it into the directions of the defenders coming. Somebody's got a chance to make a play on it right there.
Josh Miller is going to come out and have to hit it away. He'd love to get off one of his CFL leading averages of 47+ here. David Archer going to get one more shot. Miller hangs this one high from the 15-yard line, pulled down by Grady Cavness.
Mike, there was a late flag thrown on the sideline over there as one of the Baltimore players were trying to come onto the field. So I think they may get a call of illegal substitution.
Sure. And you can see that flag is out of the field of play, actually.
Yeah, you couldn't even see it. It almost looks like a marker over there between the chains.
Don Matthews saying, what? Why are we having problems getting our special team on the field?
Well, at this
illegal
point,
substitution. Baltimore, penalties decline. First down.
with those kind of substitutions at this point of the game, all it comes down is just concentration, or lack of it in this case.
Well, you've heard about your classic 2-minute drill in football. Here it is as Kay Stevenson and David Archer get set to go. The Texans of San Antonio down by 5, 28-23. David Archer trying to pull one out of the fire. I'd say this gentleman has been in this position a few times in his pro career.
Well, I think if anybody is you want to hand the ball to right now and put it in their hands to make something happen, I would just as soon have David Archer doing it.
From the 22-yard line is where Archer will start. With time. Hooks up in the middle with Myron Wise. Wise, the 170-pounder, his third reception of the night. Wise rolled his way out to the 29. Give him 7, second down and 3. Clock stopping now inside the 3-minute mark. And now it will roll as we hit 1:50 left.
Baltimore's defense plays the prevent, keeps everything in front of them, and then reacts as the defensive team should react.
Stallions rushing 4. Archer hitch route. Wise, first down. Breaks the tackle. Myron Wise secures the football out at the 48-yard line. Another flag over on that far side in front of the Baltimore bench.
From the call there, it's either illegal procedure or offsides against
Offside, Baltimore number 9. Penalties decline. First down.
Charles Anthony, the halfback, is called for offsides, coming on the halfback blitz.
Clock moving, minute 35 left. David Archer looking over at Kay Stevenson.
Precious seconds are wasting
They've
away.
wasted 10 seconds before this snap. Archer gunning into the middle. Almost picked off in and out of the hands of O.J. Brigance, the native Texan out of Houston.
Played at Rice University. I tell you, I got a chance to meet O.J. when he played up with the BC Lions. Just an outstanding individual. In 1993, that young man had 20 sacks himself. He was second in the CFL. Now, I know he can sack, but I just going to have to talk to him about being able to pick those balls up when they're thrown right at you. At least let them stick in your face mask, possibly.
2nd and 10. David Archer trying to keep the drive alive. Look at Tony Burse with a juggling act, but Burse is not going to get near the sticks. The line to make down at the 52-yard line of Baltimore. Burse comes up about 7 yards shy.
Ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage. I'm not sure, but I think that's Grant Carter that gets a hand on it as it goes outside. Just a little tip, but look at the concentration by Tony Burse.
Big play. 3rd and 7. Archer to keep the drive alive. Saunders, not gonna get there as Baltimore's defense stacks it up. The hits made by Tracy Gravely and Charles Anthony, and that will do it. 3rd down and about 7. And Don Matthews' defense does not allow Mike Saunders to stretch it out for that 1st down.
Excellent pursuit defense that he has. Discipline in every way and every phase of the game. The kind of defense that you want to have when your offense is sputtering a little bit or your quarterback goes out, your defense rises to the challenge and goes out and makes some big things happen. And if the offense is having trouble, you go out there, you get the ball 2 and out as many times as you can, get it back into the offense's hands, give them something as many opportunities as you can to make something happen.
Don Matthews Ball Club now going to keep it on the ground. Mike Pringle on the call as Baltimore tries to run this thing out with their 5-point lead as we've hit 58 seconds left in the contest.
And Mike, you will be amazed how many plays can be run off in 58 seconds in the Canadian Football League.
I'm well aware of it.
San Antonio still has 1 timeout left, so they can stop the clock.
Well, after the first half flurry with 4 touchdowns, 2 by each side, we have not seen anyone with the major here in the second half.
Yeah, but as an old defensive guy, I was loving this second half.
I figured you were. On that inside delay, Mike Pringle down inside the 50. Tries to power his way to the 49-yard line. Pringle's going to come up, about 5 yards shy of the first down stick. So once again, Josh Miller is going to try to make David Archer play on a real long gridiron here with only 35 seconds left. San Antonio has taken a timeout, as you see Don Matthews and Tracy Ham talking about it. Only 35 ticks left. Baltimore trying to win their second in a row over San Antonio, up by 5, 28-23. Josh Miller is going to hit it from about his own 50-yard line after he receives this snap from center. Kenny Wilhite standing inside his 5 for the Texans.
He doesn't want to hit his career punt right now. He just wants to kick it short.
Miller fumbled the football and had the presence of mind to bang it down with his left foot inside the 25, where Kenny Wilhite picked it up, and Josh Miller is laid out. Fumbled the snap and then did a magnificent job of getting it away.
An excellent job. Just a great athletic move, but that is an injured athlete right now. He is seriously hurt. Ball falls right between his hands.
Face mask.
Nothing to it, but then he takes it over and he takes the dump right on top of his head and his neck area. And as he was laying there, there was not a muscle in his body moving. Falls on the back of his neck. And unfortunately, that is something that you just do not want to see at any time in sport.
Obvious concern from the Baltimore sideline on behalf of their punter, Josh Miller, right now, who, as we said, has made a magnificent effort to get a punt away. But he appears to be laying motionless close to the midfield stripe.
Mike, take a good look at this of what happens to him. He makes the effort, kicks the ball away, great concentration. Then as he has his legs taken out from under him, he falls right on the back and top part of his neck area with his full weight coming down on that.
Difficult to speculate. We don't want to speculate because, you know, we certainly from this vantage point are not sure.
Just the right hand just moved just a little bit there, just the thumb movement. So
always a good sign.
It's always just any kind of sign when you get movement. Obviously, at this point, you know, you would think that the medical staff is telling him to stay as completely still as he possibly can so they can make their examination to the fullest of the extent.
As we continue to look in on the condition of Josh Miller, we'll reset this for you. There's only 26 seconds left. David Archer and the Texans of San Antonio are going to get their hands on the football one final time in most likelihood. Baltimore on top 28-23. A lot of offense in the first half, but this second half has belonged to the field goal kickers. Roman Anderson with 3 field goals for San Antonio. Carlos Huerta has matched that for Baltimore, but now the Stallion concern is for the leading punter in the Canadian Football League, their teammate Josh Miller.
Just a heroic effort and a game-saving play that he made. San Antonio will now scrimmage the ball from the 39-yard line, as opposed to, had he not been able to make that great play, they would have gotten it on about the 52 or 53 of Baltimore.
So while they continue to work on the fallen Josh Miller, we'll take a break. Baltimore by 5 when we come back to the Alamo Dome.
Popping with flavor, more flavor than ever, and less fat too. It's the right thing to do. Popping with flavor. Pringles right.
The
Canadian Football League 1995 Facts, Figures, and Records book. It's your source for the landmark plays, the vital stats, the award-winning players, the complete rules, and the outstanding performances, all the way to the Grey Cup. To order your copy, call 1-800-626-4330.
Back inside the Alamo Dome. Good to have you along on CFL Primetime tonight on ESPN. Michael Regai along with Dan Kepley, and of course the fallen punter for the Baltimore Stallions, Josh Miller. And again, one more look at how it happened.
Good snap, ball right between his hands, loses a little concentration, but as you said, has the great presence of mind to kick the ball downfield. And then he pays the unfortunate price there, coming right down on the back of his neck. There he is. He can see the rush coming. Left foot it goes, gets hit down low, and now the full extent of his weight comes down on the back of his neck. And the medical staff and the cart is out there. They've taken the helmet apart with the drills that are there, taking the face mask off. But that's what's really good right there. You can start to see just a little movement with the hands and the legs. And obviously, just for as more precautionary as anything, as they just want to be very, very careful with him.
See Michael Alexander of the Baltimore Stallions certainly in thought over the condition of his fallen teammate.
This is, you know, when these teams are like this, and as I know Coach Matthews from back in the days in 1977 to 1982, we became more than a football team. We became family, and that's your brother out there, and that's somebody a lot closer than just a teammate.
I think, too, Dan, it puts it all into perspective. Football players know that this potentially can happen. I mean, anytime, you know, you put the pads and helmets and go on out, I mean, it's something that's obviously can be there, and yet it's almost like you never want to discuss it or talk about it because it's those are bad omens.
Just take a look and see how delicately they are working with him, because anytime the trauma takes place, I mean, they have to be tremendously concerned making any kind of a movement too quickly. And they really have stabilized his neck area, as you can see with the tape and on the stretcher itself. But as you said, Mike, I mean, this is some significant occupational hazards that are out there, a little bit more than some of the other things that are in life, but you don't think about it. And if you do think about it and you go out there playing under that kind of condition, something's going to happen, because you're going to be a little tentative and you're going to be a little conscious of what's going to happen. You're not going to do things naturally.
No doubt about that. Don Matthews and Baltimore football organization, of course, with all their thoughts right now, as we all are with Josh Miller. Don't forget that coming up next on ESPN Sports Center, they'll take a look at third-round action of the U.S. Women's Open Golf Tournament. Kerry Collins with the Carolina Panthers now has inked on the dotted line, and a whole night of Major League Baseball, too. It's all coming up on Sports Center following CFL.
And unfortunately, now you have to shift gears a little bit. There's 26 seconds left to go, and all of a sudden Baltimore's got to go out there and play defense. They've got to concentrate. The Texans have to go out there. They're thinking of putting a major score because they still have an opportunity to win this football game. So it's a tremendously emotional gear to have to shift.
And Baltimore defense has been absolutely sterling in the second half as they have held David Archer touchdown scoreless. We'll be right back to the Alamo Dome. As Baltimore punter Josh Miller just left the field, certainly letting everybody know he's okay. Back live, David Archer trying to get something started, gunning it deep, almost picked off as he aired it out up that right hash mark, did David Archer. Incomplete as he wanted to go to Billy Hess, who's caught a couple here tonight for San Antonio. Archer with no choice now, as you said, Dan, looking for the major. Got to have it. The 3 will do him no good.
Well, you take a look. They got a safety and a couple of halfbacks back there. They're playing 4 deep zone. They're about 30 or 40 yards deep on the snap of the ball. They're going to get almost to the goal line. Make everything, again, thrown in front of them, but just play center field, knock it down.
Stock, Hess, Kralik, Myron Wise, the receivers, along with Mike Saunders for David Archer. Archer steps out of trouble. Open on this near sideline. Joey Kralik down at the 49-yard line. Caught the football with 10 seconds left.
Caught the football, and he was in bounds. So they'll spot the ball, let the guys get on side up to the line of scrimmage, then blow the whistle in.
Maybe 2 more plays for Archer. Clark starts. 8 seconds left. Archer got to get it up, but he's not going to be able to get it off as he is knocked to the ground by that Baltimore defense.
Archer taken down by 72.
Coming up, making the hit for the Baltimore Stallions defensively, Elfrid Payton. Now with just 2 seconds left, they're not going to get another one off. 1 more play. They got 1 more play to go. That's correct.
In the Canadian League, the clock can run out, but it cannot end on a penalty, and you get 1 more play when the clock says 0-0.
From the midfield stripe, Archer's got to get to the end zone. Hangs it up in the air at the 20-yard line, and that's going to do it. The Baltimore Stallions have recorded back-to-back wins over the San Antonio Texans. Don Matthews and the guys win it. 28-23 to go to 2-1 on the year. For our producer, Mike Baker, director Steve Lanchet, and my partner, Dan Kepley, I'm Michael Regg. I hope you enjoyed, everybody. Baltimore wins it. Sports Center is next. So long from San Antonio.
Sure, it's toasty, isn't it? But we're offering some cool options. In Scotland, knee-deep in golf, or the Rockies, where Meg's got a good reason to smile. Not working, huh? Frankie goes to Broadway, and Kirby is simply being Kirby. This bell rings long distance, but Watson had to pay for the call. This has to cool you off, no? Mike Mamula stays an Eagle, just in a different city. And if you're going to party in Boston, you might want to bring the goggles.
I just really want to apologize to the Red Sox and
5 years after the government declared him missing in action in Vietnam.
The new Brandon Iron Buffet. It's time you get acquainted. The Virgin River Hotel, Casino, and Bingo has pulled out all the stops. The most delicious down-home cooking your taste buds will ever experience. Luscious fruits, salads, and desserts like our mouth-watering fresh strawberry pie. The Brandon Iron Buffet was something for everyone, like peel and eat shrimp and selected meats that will melt in your mouth.
Virgin River Hotel and Casino. You like our countryside.
Give your great American home a great look with bright, beautiful paint from Sears. Every brand on sale. Easy Living, Weather Beater, Dutch Boy, up to half off. Right now at Sears and Sears hardware stores.
It's the Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl. Choose your favorite pasta from our special menu, then manja. Enjoy as many free refills as you want with free soup or salad and breadsticks. The never-ending pasta bowl, just $7.95 for a short time at the Olive Garden.